So we should be
All right.
started in a moment here.
All right, let's go.
We got ourselves
Sorry.
quite a collection of
A
people
few
here.
problems on my end. Yeah, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, welcome to this brand new episode of Hippy Dippy Recruitment. Let's start by a round of intro. And I'm going to have the chance to use the spotlight. Let's start by Sarah and Kitty.
Yes.
How are you doing?
Good. Great.
So present yourself, tell people where they can find you and everything.
Hi, I go by Saren most of the time. And my Twitch and Twitter is Saren_Kitty. We do politics stuff. Trying to keep it lighthearted. I'm a memer shit poster kind of person, so yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us today.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to throw it to Jason Society.
Erngren, thank you very much.
I'm Jason Society. I'm at Jason_Society on Twitch. Basically, we do a lot of conversations about politics, play games, talk about cannabis advocacy. That's something that is a big part for us. We also riff on music. Former musician, recovering musician, if you will. So we talk a lot about music and what's going on in the music world as well.
Nice. I'm going to throw it to Trick Switch. How are you doing?
I'm good. No one has seen me in about half a year, so I enjoy being a cryptid in a sense. I'm good. I barely stream, but you can find me on Twitter at tricks_witch. I'm a design student, and that's all I do.
Nice. I'm going to throw it to Montreal Player.
Boom. Yeah, my name's Monty, or Montreal Player, twitch.tv/Montreal Player. I haven't streamed a long time. My content usually consists of me smoking joints on CTV streams, somewhere between like 9 and 12. Yeah, we have some laughs. I don't even know why I'm here, but that's it. I'm streaming right now, twitch.tv/Montreal Player, the most exciting streamer you'll never see. Yeah, that's it. Let's have a great time.
Yeah. And speaking of the wolf, how are you doing, CTV? I think you're muted.
Yeah, he is.
Pro streamer.
You're damn right, pro streamer. You remember that, Tiberius?
Right? Oh, I will remember it.
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, Mr. Geek. Appreciate the intro there. Yeah, you'll know Montreal is smoking a joint with CTV whenever the stream title gets changed to High Times with Montreal Player. That's whenever we're sitting there having laughs, good time. And don't let Trix fool you. She may not have been here in a while, but people know who she is, right? She's one of Twitch's sweethearts. So for everybody else, I'm getting to know everybody that is here tonight. And I mean, Tiberius, I know I've actually shook that guy's hand,
True.
Matter of fact, him and Counterpoints owe me breakfast at some point, right?
Damn it, I forgot. I thought you forgot about that.
Yeah, don't think I'm not gonna be collecting. Anyway, happy to be here as always, and you can find me at twitch.tv/critically thinking veteran. Usually I'm over here chilling out in the Infinity Acre Wood.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Speaking of, do you care to respond about this accusation of like stealing a breakfast?
Oh, yeah.
Breakfast?
All right. So I'll get that here in a second. I'm Tiberius D. I study in economics and politics political science. And my claim to fame is knowing a little bit about geopolitics and having a show that largely revolves around that as far as a panel show and what else. Well, I can't speak today. I'm sorry. Been going through some shit. Anyway, let me put this in context. CTV's accusation is that me, Counterpoints, and him got together down in Central Florida a ways back.
Hey, Rick, how you doing?
We had a good time, and CTV brought breakfast, and he's just basically saying, he's like, hey, look, I'm calling the favors. Eventually, you got to get back down here, and I completely respect that. So we're going to have to do that again sometime.
This guy always embroiled in drama. What the fuck?
That's good.
Tiberius.
What did I do?
What? Always in drama. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's your personality.
Apparently, just people. Never mind. Not even gonna say it. Not even gonna say it.
Yeah. I'm going to afraid to Beer Bash Johnson. How are you
Excellent. I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for asking, Mr. Geek. It's Mr. Geek, right?
doing? Yeah.
Gotcha. Until I heard Dylan say your name out loud once, I was actually pronouncing it Mr. G back to myself. Anyways,
That's okay.
Same.
my name's Beer Bash Johnson. I'm a pizza delivery guy by evening, and then I'll spend the late night either drunkenly babbling about politics or streaming various racing simulators on my Twitch channel, and I also upload some of the best parts to YouTube. You can primarily find me over at my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/BeerBashJohnson, spelled with 3's instead of E's and JAWN son, like it shows right down in the corner of this video. Anyways, I'll shut up now.
All right. I'm going to afraid to Crunch Load.
Hi guys, I'm the Crunch Lord. I need no introduction, but I'm gonna give you one just in case. I do music, guitar over there. I do hunting at Target down there. We shoot crossbows on stream. We play hunting games. We talk politics, and we make liberals cry. That's what we do.
Wow. Starting strong.
Crunch Lord. Crunch Lord. I put on the hunting camo so you guys can't see me. So.
John Cena.
All right. Let's go over the rules real quick. Nothing TOS, obviously. No one wants to see that channel banned. Please respect. Don't misgender people. So the recruitment panel is going to go like this. We're gonna have two topics cut by a palette cleanser in the middle, a fun topic if you prefer. And the topics are going to go like this: opening statement, period where you can engage, closing statement. You cannot interrupt people during opening and closing statement. The last time you can bring a topic is during the opening of the next topic. Sorry. Besides that, if you want to chime in and you see that you can, basically that it's talking like everyone is talking, raise your hand. Keep that as a last resort. Try still to engage. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, also, when I speak is just to moderate. I'm not going to give my opinion. So when I talk, no one talk, please. And yeah, with that being said, let's jump into the first topic, which is Biden's coverage in the media. So how do you think it was treated? Like, you can compare it to Trump, you can take it wherever you want. And we're going to start by Tiberius.
Oh, cool. Fantastic. As far as my general take on the media, I do try to expose myself as little as possible because that shit is cancer, and I don't care if it's the left wing media or the right wing media, it's all bad. But from what I do see and what I have seen is that the left wing media is a little soft on him. It looked like about 2 weeks ago he fell asleep during a meeting. Don't know if he actually did or not, but the left wing media didn't really talk about it at all. The right-wing media was playing a lot of the cards that I thought it was going to play, and that was fine up until Afghanistan tripped off and we had the 13 folks die. And then all of a sudden, the right-wing media completely went to shit when it came to Biden because just out of the partisan in me is that most of us voted America first. You know, we didn't want to be in Afghanistan anymore. And now all of a sudden, since Biden did it, it's a bad thing. And he did it absolutely horrible. And the absolute inconsistency there bothers me a lot. But I'm going to end off with that. Left wing, a little soft. Right wing went super hard after Afghanistan. So, on with that.
All right. I'm going to afraid to trick switch.
So a lot of the mass media I get is Australian owned and based. So it's a bit different. A lot of our major news sources are incredibly right wing. So we don't really have any left and right politics. It's really just everything that Murdoch owns that's right. And after Afghanistan, they've been absolutely destroying Biden in the media. And I haven't heard a single positive thing outside of like Twitter, which is mostly American shit.
All right. I'm going to afraid to Jason Society.
Okay, so I think he's getting the presidential treatment. I think all presidents are kind of treated like crap in the media, whether it's the left wing or the right wing. I think they all get their share of it. I think sometimes there's really petty stuff that they put in the media that they do in a partisan way because and I saw CNN do it with Trump. I've seen Fox do it with Biden. I think they're both culpable, and I think it's a really, really toxic environment. But I don't think that this is out of the ordinary for what they do with presidents at all. This is par for the course.
All right. I'm going to try to CTV.
Well, I mean, let's be honest here. The only reason I'm here is because of my handsome good looks. That's it.
Okay.
There we
straight
go.
to
So
the
just
point. All right.
End the stream now. It's over.
That's it. That's it. I mean, what else is there to say? It's obvious, right, that the media is going to do what the media is going to do, right? They went hard on the Afghanistan thing because it's like, yeah, you know, there's no fucking way they can justify it. But as soon as there's like an inch, they're going to back off because, you know, there is a bias in the media. And this is where I keep telling people, verify sources, you know, go through and get to the core of what's actually happening, and then actually use some critical thinking skills to maybe get to the truth of what's being said. Because, you know, me and Jason, as a matter of fact, the other night we were sitting there talking about a story that was going on, and we ended up getting to the root of like what could possibly have been a reason for the opium fields in Afghanistan and why there was a change. Right, Jason, you remember the conversation, right?
It was
So,
a
like,
good
you know,
conversation.
so you get to the end of that and you go, well, what about this, this, and this? Did you consider this? And he was like, you know, I hadn't. So it takes time, and anytime that you're hearing something that is sensationalized by the media, understand that it is because of content creators like the people that are here on this panel that are going to the news sources and trying to verify it as best as they can, right? And to have some type of integrity about, like telling people they don't know and you know, when they don't know, they don't fucking know, and what they know, they share on screen. This is what I'm finding out, and this is what I'm seeing, right? So then from there, and that doesn't mean that anybody here is an authority about it either. But I say this because the news media only continues as the internet takes over more of the media that we intake. It becomes more and more sensationalized to try to bring people back to their content. And this is where, like, I don't know how much longer it's going to be, but we can continue to see the main news media sources sensationalize things in order to try to gain more viewership. So take everything with a grain of salt.
All right. I'm going to throw to Serenity.
Hey, I will say I think for the most part, mainstream media is like pretty soft on him. Until after Afghanistan happened. I mean that's pretty much true. His approval rating went down the past couple weeks.
Wait a minute,
And
Smitty, how's the sim racing this
I
afternoon?
want to say that
what the
most
fuck?
right wing media kind of
Why is my mic so quiet?
is pretty bad with not offering a real critique about Biden. Most of it, not all of it, most of it. And yeah.
All right. I'm going to throw it to Birbash Johnson.
Oh boy, how do I say this? And to answer directly the question, is the media treating Biden fairly? It completely depends, and also not really. Jason Society, that was you where you were talking about, you know, the presidential treatment, right?
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, I would say he's definitely getting the presidential treatment. However, it's like with the way that we cover, like, especially that a lot of media outlets in the United States tend to cover, especially presidential politics. It's always done from that really fucking awful, like, team, like, kind of almost covering it like team sports, which is, I believe, something that CNN is directly responsible for. And I'm probably one of the furthest left people on this panel right now. I fucking hate it because it's it's kind of a hack job. But yeah, when you're gonna cover politics, and especially presidential politics like team sports, it's going to be impossible to actually be fair to anybody. But it also creates this thing where whether it be like the supposedly left-leaning media outlets that are really more centrist than anything else, whether it comes to them sensationalizing stupid shit involving Trump, or like say Fox or One American News sensationalizing stupid shit involving Biden. The thing is they always sensationalize the really, really stupid shit, but then completely gloss over like actual like really fucked up things that they're doing on issues that have less salience. That's the word. Issues that are much lower salience issues, and that where the shady dealings go on behind the scenes, and they just like completely gloss that over, let alone actually provide any like nuanced or in-depth coverage. Few and far between where you can find things that'll actually cover stuff like that and do it, which is sad.
All right, I'm going to throw it to Montreal player.
Right. Yeah, fair. Do you think we have any fair media anymore? Like who are the serious newscasters anymore, right? There's no Walter Cronkites or anybody who takes their shit seriously. We don't have diehard journalists anymore. We have Instagram models who read scripts. I mean, in what world are we not going to have the most clickbaity takes aside from people who practically nobody watches and realize before they realize what they need to do to actually pay the bills around here? Like seriously, which structure do we have where we're actually going to get news? You know where serious journalists go now? They're producers, they're researchers. They go out there and they publish little pieces. They go in some marketplace and someone picks them up, okay, and picks what they can to sensationalize them and get all kinds of views out of them. And like, that's just the model we have, right? You can't survive if you don't do this. So it's like how structurally, how are we actually going to get fair coverage from anybody anymore? Right? And whatever, I guess this has been increasing. Does Biden get fair coverage? Probably not. Just because of the system, not because he's Biden or not because he's a Democrat or in the left or anything like that. I just don't think it's possible anymore. I just don't think it's possible. That's it. Oh yeah, one last thing. And you know whose fault it is? It's your fault. It's my fault. Do we watch anything else? Do you watch that serious shit? No, you don't. Come on, most of you don't.
I try to watch the series. So
I mean, hold on, maybe Tiberius does because he's boring, right? But I mean, most of us have lives.
This is true. You know?
Most of us probably have lives where we're so fucking busy, okay, and we fill up the very few minutes that we have in the day smoking joints with some guy on Twitch, okay. And so for something to break through all that clutter, okay, and actually get my attention, it's probably been force fed to me by someone who is putting a lot of money behind it. There you go. Now I'm really done.
All right, and last but not least, Crunchloud.
Yeah, so I think Biden's been treated very, very fairly by the media, fairly to the point where they carried water for him for the entire 2020 election. Nothing he did was wrong. He was the best thing since sliced bread. Meanwhile, Trump friggin', if he didn't put the toilet seat
that's
down,
where I'll argue that this actually isn't
news.
Fair treatment.
So that's how I feel about it. I think if he is getting friggin' slammed by the media right now, I think that's well deserving because he has jacked up a lot of stuff, especially in Afghanistan, for those who have been there and know how easy it would have been to pull people out without having this BS. That's all I got.
All right, just to make sure, did I forget anything?
Yeah, you did. As a matter of fact, you did. All right. First off, show's being co-hosted by me,
and not just cult of specific personality boy meets mini.
Okay, like it's ridiculous. Geek. Why do you not have the right overlay on? And the reason why I'm being so dramatic right now is because it was specifically requested by Danabo. Okay, so do it.
Oh my god.
That's what I got.
Ladies and gentlemen, and that's why he's only here for his looks. Whee!
All right, and now you can engage.
It's not even just cult of personality. It's cult.
What are we
of
talking
the
about? Like when we
office.
say fair, like fair with respect to like other people, like fair in terms of like, oh, he's being treated so unfairly compared to this person, or because I was saying, oh, it's a systematic failure of media, right? But I mean, I guess if everyone's subjected to the same thing, then maybe fair, or fair in terms of like, oh, I think we're giving this guy like a fair assessment of what the story might actually be. That's my question on that.
Let's be honest here, right? There is no way that anyone's going to pass a litmus test on fair in this, because we're all going to have different thoughts when it comes to what the actual fairness is. We all have our political biases. We all have our certain things that we advocate for. And as an example, at least for me, one of the biggest things I've seen, whether it was Obama, whether it was Trump, whether it has been Biden, is that one, are people being ideologically consistent where they say, look, we're for this or we're not for this. And when it happens under another president, do they maintain consistency or do they flip?
I'm going to bring up
and I've seen
Jim
both
Lara.
sides do this really, really bad lately. But the other side of that is that
I got some feelings about
can we put aside our bias enough to the point where we go, all right, you know what? This person is getting at least a decent evaluation, because I don't agree with Biden on a lot of shit, but I can look at it and be like, all right, left-wing media, hasn't hold the fork down to them where they really could on a few things. Compared to the right-wing media, they're definitely going to do that because opposition. But on the other side of that, is it within reason? Is it principled? Is it restricted? And that's only something I can consult with my morals and then throw it at you guys and see where you guys go with it. Excuse me, according to what I said with my opening introduction, I think the left-wing media definitely is going to suck Biden off because it's their guy. I mean, sometimes maybe it's a little too far. The right was largely in line for me personally, but then all of a sudden Afghanistan happened and they just went off a cliff. So yeah, reiterating what I said. Thank you.
I think fair would be like a nuanced, critical analysis of what's going on and what is happening or what Biden is doing. I don't think like saying that he's a socialist, communist. What else do they say? I don't know, socialist, communist president, and he's going to take us all the way to the left is fair.
No, people are saying he's a corpse and he's not present for his own administration.
There's a lot of things they say about
no,
him.
No, I don't think so. But okay.
I mean, does anybody think that Joe Biden say that his butt's been wiped? Like, does anybody think that was unfair coverage? Because, I mean, it's good to know that the old man's getting his ass wiped, right? I mean, we definitely don't want the president of the United States walking around with shitty drawers. You know what I mean?
Well, he's a very busy man. Right. I'm glad he's taking care of serious shit, and someone else is doing the butt wiping. Right? I mean, it's resources off his mind.
Trivial shit. That's the whole point. It's trivial.
Yeah,
it's like this is, and they did the same thing with Trump. It's trivial shit, and you know what? People get fixated on it because they have this need to demonize somebody so bad that they'll take these little things and they just swallow it whole, and they're like, oh, let me consume more of this crap that the media is throwing at me. And if you think it's either the left or the right, and you can't see that it's happening on both sides, that's a really, really naive perspective, because there's one thing that these media companies care about, and that's their ad buyers, right? They don't care about anybody else. Their stories are curated based off of who's going to buy ads on their network. That's it.
How many right-wing media companies, like as far as like mainstream go, other than Fox, exist? Compared to the 8 that they have on the left wing?
The huge YouTube people, Steven Crowder, OAN, who else? Ben Shapiro, Tim Pool,
Sky News.
Okay, so you put Tim Pool against CNN and MSNBC?
They are
this idea that
Fox News is the biggest news network in the country.
Come on.
They are big.
You're saying that right-wing people only have one news station to go to for...
They have a lot of news stations. Newsmax, OANN.
Like mainstream, you're saying that mainstream media, the fact that it's not a left or right thing, I mean, it seems like it's more of a problem on the left because you guys have all the fucking news networks.
No, we don't.
Like, I wouldn't put a YouTube channel against... I wouldn't put a YouTube channel next to NBC, CNN.
They're not left-wing.
MSNBC. You just go down the line. No, there's... Are you serious? There's CNN, there's ABC, there's MSNBC, there's like 4 or 5.
So we're
compared
to
one.
Yeah, they can't be left wing. They don't allow themselves to go completely insane in one direction.
All right, real quick, I want to throw it to Trick Switch.
Just throwing in because you're like, there's barely any right-wing networks. I don't know about you guys, but in Australia, right-wing politicians are allowed to be major stakeholders in TV channels, and they're allowed to dictate what actually goes on TV. So we have like an entire like half of the channels on my TV right now that I just don't watch because it's just like, oh, if I go on that, I know it's curated by this billionaire, it's this politician. Like we have entire newspapers owned by politicians. We have like web everything. It's much more of an impact on our new. There's like, I could probably list 3 news channels that are left wing. Like outside of America, I think that politics is less like left dominated in terms of like I see a lot of like CNN and shit on Twitter, but I think outside of America's political sphere,
I mean, what is right wing in Australia though? Because you guys don't have guns and you're putting people in like COVID quarantine camps over there. So like, I don't know how far.
The
right you
Australian
guys are.
right wing is
Hold
You know how
on,
really
far right
racist.
your right wing
Left
is.
wing.
bad.
Well, I'm
Right
saying
wing
like
in
I don't know how
Australia
far
not
is
right it
really
is.
bad. It's incredibly far right. Like we have like the One
Yeah, and
Nation
Indians ever heard
Australia
of-
campaign, which is pretty much
Canadians ever
we
heard
have
of
literal
Bob
Make
Catter?
Australia Great Again posters up. We've got Pauline Hanson, we've got Clive Palmer. The right wing network in Australia is just as far as America. We've
Would
got
you say the
people.
right wing's a majority in Australia?
Um, I would say it's 50-50. Maybe, yeah, I'd say it's a little bit over the
So
majority.
having like a majority control over the media hasn't helped them.
No.
Isn't
Okay,
the right
got
wi-
it.
isn't in Australia isn't the party that calls itself Liberal Party like actually pretty right wing like Scott
the-
Morrison's party?
So it's hard because when you guys talk about liberals, I have to flip it because in Australia, Liberal is the name of the right wing party and Labor is the name of the left wing party.
Yeah, that's how it started out, like in
Yeah.
history. Yeah.
We just forgot to flip it, I guess. But yeah, they most of Australia is right wing. It's really like most of our like government in itself is right wing, but the having major media control hasn't helped them. Like I don't think that you can equate having control of the media with having
That makes sense.
I don't know, but also
I
like
said something contradictory. Okay, I see.
yeah,
Australia has different problems than the U.S. I agree.
yeah, but also like
Yeah, me too. I always
we
feel
don't really
bad for
get
so many of the
anything
people that like
positive
are,
about
so many American
Joe
people
Biden.
that show up on these panels are
I actually
very-
don't think that we should get anything
don't
positive about
really
Joe Biden. I
understand
don't really think
politics
that we should
outside the
celebrate when
United
people
States.
do their jobs,
Most
if that makes
basic-
sense. Like, you don't really get news reports of like, hey, this firefighter did his job today. He put out that fire. This lawyer showed up to his appointment.
Yeah, like going above and beyond. But I mean, when it comes to like the guy who runs the entire country, that's pretty important. Like people want to know what's going on, and that's kind of the only way we get to know what's going on.
Like when you say right wing, sorry, when you say right wing, what does that mean in terms of, I guess, let's say the yardstick would be American politics, because whatever, like the meme is what like leftists think that even Democrats are right wing at this point, right? I mean, like, so I don't know where to like what's the conversion, right? what's the exchange rate on
Me?
on rightism?
Oh God.
Do you mean for me? Is this? Yeah. So right wing in Australia is like gun ownership. Also, people still own guns here. It's legal. You're allowed to own guns. It's gun ownership. It's abortion right. Taking away abortion rights. It's trying to recriminalize same-sex marriage. It's wanting to kick out immigrants. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on with mining companies at the moment. It's, I'd say, just as far as America. All the same issues you guys have, we pretty much have.
I'm from Canada, but okay.
Oh,
I get it.
I'm
I
sorry.
get what you're saying. No, you've answered the question adequately, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I don't know how you could consider it right wing if you're not allowed to have firearms. But
Oh God.
We can. It's legal. You can buy firearms in Australia.
can you?
I mean, what was the whole
Yes.
gun
I
buyback
don't
that
understand why that
I don't know. I
myth
mean,
goes
I live-
around that you cannot own firearms in Australia.
I mean,
I wanna
it's
bring-
probably possible if you live in the fucking bush, but I imagine
No.
like
people
I've
love
talked to a
stereotypes.
lot
I
of
live in the
Australian
city.
people, and I've been to
I-
Melbourne and Perth, and they don't think that guns are legal there, or maybe it's just ableist.
I
Maybe the
literally
laws
live
there
in the
are bad.
city. I know multiple people with guns legally.
How do you How you
Are
gonna
they
ban
red?
guns in Australia? You have the scariest animals ever.
Yeah.
Can we bring this back to the good old US of A?
Sorry.
Like I don't care about the
I'm
prison
sorry.
colony right now. All
Well,
right.
fuck you,
so
Tiberius. We exist too.
Fucking
We exist too
ruthless.
You're
here.
Canadian.
Dude, nobody
I don't
cares
wanna
about
hear it.
Canada, dude. Nobody
Oh,
cares.
we
You
don't
don't
make-
even
I
yeah, that's
care
it. I'm
about
coming over there.
Canada.
We're coming
You
over
don't
there,
exist.
burning your capital down again.
You guys aren't real. You're
Bring it
you
on.
don't
We-
exist. You
Hey,
didn't
I
burn the
love
capital.
America
The British
Junior,
did.
okay?
I wanna
not
break
the
down some-
Canadians.
All right.
I wanna bring out some numbers real quick.
JK.
Tiberius, go ahead.
All right, so this is some numbers I pulled a ways back. I just going a little bit off my head, but I want to talk about TV, radio, and internet. Television. The number one by viewership is Fox News here in the United States. Now, most people consider that right wing. I don't really want to play your litmus test right now. I'm just going to put them in these categories. Its viewership is bigger than the next three combined, which is CNN, MSNBC, and I can't remember where. I think it's like CBS. I think it is.
Thank you.
Which are usually either known as center or somewhat center left. Basically, while Fox is kind of alone in the wind when it comes to major television news, is that they have the viewership of almost everybody else combined, if not more. It just depends on how the ratings are going that season, but it's huge. The second one's radio. Radio is absolutely
Yeah.
dominated by conservative
That's how
talk
I
radio,
felt
and
when-
Rush was
Yeah,
putting up
that's how I was
huge, fucking
feeling when
ridiculous
that
numbers
was-
that was completely crushing NPR all the way up until its death. So, in a large degree, that's absolutely dominated by right wing talk. And then the internet's really weird because there's so much shit that it's really hard to eke out. As far as viewership, it looks like it's a little bit more left
I
in that
have such a
regard,
great
but as far
chat.
as content, it actually looks like the right has more sites and dedicated news that are more online that are transcending into that. The Blaze is a great example. Breitbart is a great example of that. Started online, moving into other things that are bigger. That's kind of the litmus test that I pulled from the media about 2 years ago.
But there's
So,
there's less avenues for the right to go to. That's why.
all the
they-
same
I mean,
avenues.
it's
What are you
easier to
talking
have high
about?
numbers.
It's the
I'm saying it's
same
easier to have
avenue.
high numbers when you're Fox News and you're the only conservative mainstream media center, right? Like
Well,
I wouldn't consider
All
Blaze.
three of the other networks combined don't even amount to the Fox News viewership.
Well,
What are you
maybe
talking
that's why
about?
that's where that silent majority thing comes in, right? They're probably more conservatives, right? That don't just cry on the internet in front of everybody all
So
year
where are you
round.
at?
There
Where are you
That's
at?
hilarious.
Because the right
because-
believes in
so
fascist
you're-
Maybe they do
hierarchical
exist.
structures,
Yes.
right?
On the
The silent
internet.
Well, then
majority is
yes.
real.
Right
Oh my
wing
God.
media
that's how you guys
does have more control and has more tap into viewership and listeners than left wing media. As a matter of fact, there isn't even left wing media out there. What kind of left wing media are you talking about? Centrist, CNN, MSNBC. These are not left wing
Based.
media. These are status
Based.
quo corporatist media.
What?
No,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
Wait,
CNN
what?
and
Well, hold on.
yeah,
Thing.
CNN and
Hold on,
Fo-
if-
CNN and MSNBC they don't actually advocate for any real systemic change. They advocate straight up like girl boss woke capitalism type of shit. The most cynical, pointless implementations of like surface level identity politics that they same with the with the leaders of the
You had it.
Huh?
You had it.
Bro, you were on a roll.
yeah,
So-
And then
fine.
it died.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
so-
have like a problem with doing that though. Oh, the fucking the high up
thing,
figures of
it's
the
the thing.
Democratic Party. The fucking high up leaders of the Democratic Party, the idea that they're like actually leftist makes me fucking laugh. Because
Yeah, but the
You know,
leftists
they-
have no real representation in Congress because
Yeah,
their
and-
ideas are fringe as fuck and nobody likes them.
have you the
Right.
progressive lobby in the Congress right now is like 100 people strong. It's kind of ridiculous and scary.
it's, like,
Okay,
it's actually crazy, but it's still nothing compared to like leftist
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah,
like nothing compared to even like how much influence actual leftist movements have in
Can we define
Europe.
leftists though? Like, are we talking about like socialists, communists?
if you
how
like
far are we
capitalism, you're
going
probably
down
not
the
a leftist.
spectrum?
I'm even talking like center left, like Bernie
Oh.
Sanders, for example.
Green New Deal.
Bernie Sanders, for example, here in the United States, we act like he's this like radical fucking like Soviet Union resurrectionist, but over in the UK, he would be like a standard
Yeah,
member of the fucking
he's like
Labour
Tony
Party.
Blair.
Like,
He's the Tony Blair dude. Yeah, yeah, I get it. Or
Yeah,
like
well,
Attlee.
a little bit better than Tony Blair because Tony
He's like
Blair's like
Attlee, the guy
incredibly
that- yeah.
but yeah, like I'd say maybe a better comparison would be like Jeremy Corbyn. He's a pretty fucking controversial figure. They dumped him for this for Keir Starmer, who I don't know much about, but I hear he's an incompetent jerk off and just driving Labor into the ground. But yeah, like the fact that the farthest left people in Congress are like incredibly tame compared to go over to Europe and there's like actual fucking tanky parties that have like that will have seats in national legislature. And
It's pretty easy to understand though. Like people want to choose what to do with their own money.
Oh,
So like
God.
that's a very easily, maybe it's like center,
I would
whatever.
like
people
to-
people like to spend their
I would
money on
like
what they
to
want to spend their money
actually-
on.
I would actually like to offer you a
Yeah, like
does it sound like
politicians.
you can really choose to do what you can do with your own money when your landlord extorts you for up to like 30%?
You buy a house.
Or if you buy a house, you get a mortgage. They're extorting a shitload of. That's also extorting a shitload of money.
Yeah, but when
from
you pay it off,
because
they
the
can't
banks
extort you
operate-
anymore.
the
Do we
banks
have to go down
operate-
this road?
Also,
Like,
this is
When you buy the
also,
house,
this is
you don't
going
owe
really
that. You don't
far
have to.
off
You don't
topic.
do what the.
I
la-
apologize,
It's
but
The problem is a lot of people can't afford to buy houses because there are a litany of other issues as far as economics and income goes. It's
Oh,
such an
if you
ignorant
decide-
statement. Well, just go
Based,
buy a
it's-
house. Everybody's
Yeah.
got $10,000 to put down on a house.
I'm still
Sure.
renting, and
Exactly.
I make a lot of money.
The internet's top leftist bought a great house.
Yeah.
Remember?
You could buy
yeah,
a fucking
tricks.
house.
It
The
makes
problem
it,
is
I
personal
want to-
it
choices.
blows my mind
I
when
want to
people
try
like
to-
start
to
actually
type
fucking
virus, and
bringing
after
out
that,
those.
like people who haven't talked a lot, Serengeti, CTV, Trick Switch. Go ahead.
Gotcha.
go ahead, go ahead.
Appreciate it, man. So I didn't want to
Yeah,
get
you
into
look
litmus
decently
test
happy
because
to
I knew
be
this is
here,
exactly
Trix,
where it
it's
was going to
good.
go. Where
And
it's
I'm-
like, hey, these
I'm
guys are
using
actually
push
that
to talk
left.
so I
You're
can
not
like
very
talk
left
to
at all.
chat my
I
own chat.
I don't
separately.
care. I just legitimately don't care that much.
Life
Like,
brought me a shot. So nice.
let's put a stake in the ground here, right? We can largely identify like at least what the right wing is in that regard. We can at least say that all right, these people are not the right wing. We can at least get on that board, right? So, are these people actually treating Biden with any kind of scrutiny? The right's definitely been on that. Is that fair? I don't know. I was where we're trying to get. We derailed into leftism and what actually constitute that. And I don't.
Yeah,
just
I
don't think so.
apologize for the part that I played in that. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I'm
It's
not.
easy. It's just we gotta fucking do better.
Very
okay? It's just
Canadian.
fucking
Okay,
Canadians.
so you know what?
Are you Canadian? Is that why you're
I wanna-
apologizing?
Me, no. I just try to be polite on
Oh,
these
okay.
things. It's not like I'm the host. If I was the host, I would be as rude to people as I want to be.
Stop appropriating my culture.
Wow. There's a closet authoritarian right there for you. Anyway, so look, let's go here. Let's go here, right? So like let's bring all this together. The news media, Biden leftists. Like, what do you think? And let's just get a show of hands. If you think that trying to
Off left bash.
systemically get rid of Americans' gun rights would be a part of leftist ideology, raise your hand. Nobody.
Be right back.
Nobody thinks that?
Are you aware of what the Socialist Rifle Association is?
Yeah,
Fucking
have you
leftists
read
love
Marx
Did you
at
not?
all?
Did you not hear
Even a little
the
bit.
How are we
question?
going to kill the capitalists?
Did you not hear the question? I'll
In
repeat the
Minecraft.
question in the hopes that like people didn't get the crud out of their ears and they're able to
Try it
understand what
another
was
time.
asked.
Try it one more time.
Okay, so do you think that leftist ideology would have them systemically get rid of people's rights to own a gun? Do you think that's a part of the leftist ideology?
No.
See how many hands we get.
So nobody thinks that. So then
No.
whose ideology is it a part of?
Neolibs.
Neolibs.
Mine.
So neoliberals
So
are the ones that
Trix
want
is
to
a
get rid of
neolib.
guns, not
Got it.
leftists, right? So then
Yes.
here's where we're at, right? Biden is in fact a neoliberal because during on the
Wait, Smitty,
campaign
you're
trail,
absolutely
one of the things
correct.
that's still on his website now that he wants to do. There's a few things. He wants to hold gun manufacturers accountable. He wants to get weapons of war off our streets, ban the manufacture and
feel
sale of
bad.
assault
Geek
weapons
looks
and
like-
high-capacity magazines, regulate possession of
Geek
existing
looks-
assault weapons under the National Firearms Act, buy back the assault weapons and high-capacity magazines already
looks
in our
like he's
communities,
not
reduce
having a good
stockpiling
time,
of weapons,
and I feel
keep guns out of dangerous hands, require
Fail.
background checks for all gun sales, close the other loopholes in the federal background check system, reinstate the Obama-Biden policy to keep guns out of hands of certain people unable to
Yeah, you're
manage their
fine. I'm
affairs
very
for
happy to
mental
talk to my own
reasons,
chat while
which President Trump
talking.
reversed. So,
Nobody has ever said that Biden was to the left. He is the most centrist, non-left president I think we've had in quite a while. No, he is definitely not a leftist or
So
anywhere
then-
near the left.
So then,
Actually-
in reality, right? The obvious answer to whether or not Biden has been being covered fairly by the news media is yes.
No, it's not. I think
Oh,
you
it's not.
stumbled ass backwards into a great insight here. Hold on. Because if you think about it, right, you've got everyone's complaining about like right-wing media and left-wing media, right? The extremes that get the fucking views because we love to watch extremes, right? But then you have Biden who's kind of in the middle left, right? As a neo-lib, right? So you got the lefty media shitting on him for a bunch of reasons, and you got the righty media shitting on him for a bit different reasons. At least if you're on one side, you'd have one side not shitting on you.
Hey, like I said, the presidential treatment, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I mean, think about it. All the most clickbaity takes that are going to get views and stuff are all going to all have to take a position where they got to shit on Biden because he's not really there. He's not really there for any of them. So maybe he's getting more unfairly treated than anybody. At least before with Trump, at least the right wing media was like, hey, I guess we got to give this guy a shot, right? Okay, left media they're just mad at everyone until I don't know Karl Marx gets elected or something. Right, but I mean now it's just like
don't tease my dreams.
Shit on by anybody time.
All
oh
right,
my god, yeah, you're trying to grow into it, aren't you? All right.
I didn't want to go down this road, but apparently we're here. So the thing that I've got to give Biden is that
I got the T-shirt, just so you know.
I'm sure you do. Anyway, so getting back to where I was going to go or move to where it was that when it comes to the perception of Biden's a neo-lib. Some people would say that makes him right-wing now, which is so fucking weird, but okay, whatever. I usually consider those folks like very center-left. And in context to our leftist friends on the other side of the aisle is that he is definitely not a leftist. He's done a lot to actually piss on the lefties. He's got one of the most pro-corporate Democratic administrations that we've ever seen. So is the left-wing media largely backing him to a large degree? Yeah, the ones that are backed by big money. Now, if you're talking about like Occupy Democrats and Occupy Wall Street, which I don't remember if they actually have a thing. Sorry.
Young Turks.
Yeah. Young Turks, Occupy Democrat or Occupy Occupy Democrat, stuff like that. They are railing on Biden and pretty much every chance they get. The problem is their viewership's actually not that good, even though there's like 100 of them. So the actual, hey, fair enough, man. The other side of that conversation I really wanted to get into was that,
I'm cold.
yeah, Crunch was going on the fact that like Fox News is like the only major conservative television, but there's a counter to that, which is the viewership itself, where it dominates most of the traditional news as far as viewership. So overall, there might be, at least on television, less avenues for conservatives to go to. In overall viewership, they actually outnumber the left overall, completely, all combined. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, I
Well,
put
wouldn't
on
that
this
mean-
orange
wouldn't that
hat
mean
so
that
you
you have
guys
a-
could see me. So I'm here.
Wouldn't-
Now you guys
I
can
guess-
see where I'm at. Good.
Wouldn't the
Good deal.
concentration of viewers into a single kind of avenue also, I guess, limit the amount of views that would be considered mainstream right as well? Because if you have like I guess one channel, then that channel has to like kind of stick to a certain range of views, right? Whereas opposed to if you have more of, I guess, a decentralized model, there's a wider diversity of things that could be left, I guess.
Well,
real quick, sorry. I want to fray to Trick Switch, and after that, I want to hear from. I mean, jump if you want, but like I want to give the opportunity for Seren, Kitty, and Jason to talk to. So yeah.
Just in regards to viewership, I think that some news. Okay, so Fox and CNN. I'm just using them as the two examples because that's all that's been referenced pretty much. They really cater whatever they write for directly who's going to watch them. Like if they're going to say something, like if Fox News came out with something that was like leftist, a lot of their viewers would just like turn off. Like they would go to something else. Like I don't think that would be good for them as like a business model. So I think that a lot of situations, I think that if Trump and Biden did the exact same thing, so like say that Trump did this one action when he was in office and Biden did this one action when he was in office, even if they were identical, I think that left-wing news, no matter what, would be like, good job, Biden, fuck Trump. And then right-wing media would be like, oh my god, Trump, you did such a good job on this. Biden, what the fuck was that? Literally, if they were the exact same action, purely because that just helps get their views, it helps their, it's entertainment. Thoughts?
I want to comment on that, but Siren's next, so I want to give her a chance, unless you don't want to talk.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
pretty off. I guess back to what Tiberius was saying, I feel like we can't leave out online social media stuff because there's, I mean, they have a huge impact on what people think. Even like older people go on the internet for their news, so I feel like just talking about the mainstream media is just leaving out a whole big chunk of where people get their news. I mean, I think even like Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, those are like the top 3 places where people get news.
Gotcha. To reply to Trix real quick, I largely agree with her, and that is the news just seems to me at this point it's openly partisan to the point where, you know, if one guy does this action, it doesn't matter what the ideology is or the policy is anymore. Is that if it's their guy, fuck them. If it's our guy, win. And it's driving me crazy. And I've seen this on both sides of the aisle. I'm not going to say that one side's doing it better and is maintaining principles. No one is. It's really fucking bad. Going back,
I 100% agree too.
Yeah.
100%. That's
Me too.
exactly the problem.
okay.
So
Sorry. Go ahead. I'll let you go.
no, I mean, I was just going to illustrate further. You know, I mean, that's what I've been saying. Is it's not no one should be playing the victim here, not the right side or the left side. Nobody should be playing the victim because everybody's got their champions. Everybody's got the people championing for them. You know, in the media, doing the bidding. You know, fueling that cognitive dissonance and that divide in our country. You know, and it's not one side or the other. We need to understand it's happening on both. We can't correct it until we realize that.
I want to get back to what Monty was talking to me about, but the only thing I'll say to this is that I'm waiting for one political party to say, look, this is our fucking principles, and having like curtailing not only their party structure but their media to follow those principles. Because right now it's not just the media, it's both parties, is that they'll say one thing and do something else constantly over and over again. And it's just like, who do you root for at this point? And I mean, and I'm shitting on both the Republicans and
what's
the
up with
Democrats.
the-
They
what's
both
up,
do it to an
Antithesis?
obscene degree at this point. But to get back to
CTV
Sorry, I was
2024.
missing channel.
fair enough. All right, to get back to Monty, which it looks like he's writing notes. What you were going with is that is it necessarily
Hippy
a
Dippy
problem
is a panel
that
run
the
by
right
Dylan
only has like
Burns.
one major avenue when it comes to television, being Fox, and not having multiple avenues that can curtail to sub audiences.
Usually Friday
I
evening.
think the comment
you
that you
doing,
said was
Antithesis?
a little bit inverted, and that I think this actually makes for an easier right wing mainstream that can serve a good or a very bad purpose. If Fox has the majority of the viewership, they can curtail a message that can be incredibly positive, that can mobilize the right wing into something that is very constructive and good. It also can serve a completely nefarious purpose as well. And I'm going to take a shot at Fox News. Fucking fire Tucker Carlson for openly saying that Great Replacement memes. Fuck that shit. No, not allowed.
That who replaced what?
Oh, Tucker Carlson started about 2 months ago, I think. Maybe it's been 3 now. Openly doing Great Replacement as online onboard talks.
Oh, okay. Well,
Which blew my fucking mind. And Fox didn't fire him.
I wasn't
which-
surprised, and I'm also not surprised that Fox didn't fire him, sadly, because that's the sad reality of the that especially the right-wing media is catering to this ever increasingly like openly racist living on in
Wait a
some other
second.
reality
Hold
demographic.
on. No. You literally have a president that the media carried the fucking water for. That was cool with the fucking, what was he? A Cyclops in the Ku Klux Klan, and a congressman went to his funeral, gave a eulogy, and you're
We
talking
also-
about what right wing media is doing? Like, come on, dude. Come on.
Yeah, he also
one of
plagiarized
your
those two
guys', though.
speeches back
Stop
in the 80s.
gaslighting me. Don't
Yeah.
gaslight me. Come on, man.
Oh
Be
my God.
real.
Gaslighting.
I know you guys couldn't see me earlier because the camouflage. I got the orange hat on. Should be able to see me now. But Biden has literally signed racist legislation. Kamala Harris kept people in that were on death row
Aren't we
in
saying
jail
that?
after receiving
I
like
feel
you
like
guys
we
are like
said
this
multiple
administration is more
times, like,
racist
it's
than
not
ever,
like
and you're trying to say that
we're
the
saying
right
it's
wing
not-
media is the problem. Like, come on,
yeah,
get the
and I
fuck out of
think the
here.
right-wing media
We're just trying to go hunting. All
One
right,
at a time, please.
we're just trying to go hunting and own guns. That's it, and pay less taxes.
Kitty, I think
and
you
ban
wanted to answer.
abortion in Texas.
You could go to another state. You know how many states that Texas shares a border with? Go to another state.
That's bullshit.
There you go.
A lot
Oh,
of
it's
people
another
that are trying to
state.
get abortions don't have
wait,
Go to another
wait,
fucking
wait,
state.
to do
wait,
it
wait,
and to
wait,
travel
wait,
across
wait,
state
wait,
lines. What an
wait,
ass
wait.
comment.
Whoa!
Yeah, be mad.
When I speak, no one speak. Next time I mute. The topic, just as a friendly reminder, is Biden's coverage by the media. How did we end up on abortion, please? I know that's a trendy topic right now,
Well,
but like, it's not on
that's-
the menu. I'm sorry.
Well, no, that's why it's relevant, right? Because Texas is one of the states, right? It is something that's happening in the news. It's relevant to Biden under his presidency. Real easy line to follow.
Yeah, but
It's a
I
bit.
don't want to go there. Let's just say, let's not go there, please.
Okay,
All
fair
right.
enough. Fair enough, right? Crunch made his point. So I think now's probably a good time for outros to this topic, right?
Yeah, I think it's died down for a while. So yeah, let's go. Let's start with Crunch Lord.
Yeah, I'm tired of being gaslit by people. If you're gonna call a spade, then keep that same consistency. Keep it going. But if you're just gonna gaslit people on the right after you fucking spent 4 years of crying about this, crying about that, get the fuck out of here. I'm the Crunch Lord. Moving on.
All right, I'm going to pray to Tiberius.
Oh, good. He's wanting to go outside. We'll make this quick. So, when it comes, shut up for a second, just 1 minute. All right. So anyway, when it comes to what is in the media, I am so sorry.
He's fine. Just
That's
keep
okay.
talking, Tiberius. You fucking doing is making it last longer. Just
Yeah,
keep talking.
true. Yeah, I just got to give him the pets. Anyway, so when it comes to what's going on in the media, I largely put my thoughts as to where Biden was at the intro, so I don't want to repeat that. What I will say is that when it comes to how the media portrays anything, is that it does seem to be more openly partisan than it does be made on principles. We've seen this over and over again, and it looks like the panel largely was unanimous. I didn't get any real pushback from it, that neither side, on media or even within the political structure themselves, are maintaining any kind of principled consistency. That has to change. If we want a functional, better society, we have to be better fucking people. And this isn't going to work when we literally are having our political grudge match literally just amount to they're the bigger asshole than us, so vote for us. And I'll end with that.
All right. I'm going to pray to. Okay, one person duck, another disappeared.
Not exactly a mic drop
Tiberius.
moment, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, Tiberius.
Yeah, virtual player. Let's go.
All right, let's go for it. You know what? Actually, all this, whatever, is Biden being portrayed fairly by the media? Probably not. I don't think it's possible, and there's a lot of forces why it wouldn't be. However, this whole kind of question had me left with one question: is it even fair to label media right or left? Like, would it be like more accurate to label by sponsors? Trix mentioned like CNN earlier, and I was thinking about like who are the ads right on this thing, right? CNN isn't left wing or right wing; they represent pharma, oil, and cars. Okay, I mean, if you've ever watched this thing, okay, that's literally who the commercials are. If you think like their opinions aren't endorsed by these industries and entirely, then that's what
That's
it
why
is.
they're
Right or left,
awesome.
it doesn't matter. Follow the money.
That's why
Okay, that's my thing.
capybaras are awesome.
All right,
Capybaras
I'm
are
going to
fucking
throw it
sick. I love
to Jason.
Yeah, kind of just to follow up on what Montreal was saying. That's what I've been saying the whole time. Biden's getting the presidential treatment. All these media companies and outlets cater to moneyed interests. They make their money off ad buys. They're going to do what keeps those ad buys coming in, no matter what that is. And if that means demonizing the person on the left because they have a right wing audience, then that's what's going to happen. If it means demonizing the person on the right because they have a left wing audience, if you want to call it that, that's what's going to happen. No matter what happens, they're going to do whatever it takes to keep getting those ad buys and keep creating revenue and generating money. That's what it's all about. It's about the Benjamins, baby. We all know that. Okay, so let's stop pretending that there's this big divide and that these people aren't doing this for a paycheck. That's what it all boils down to. There is no credible media anymore. And is Biden being treated fair?
I saw
He's getting
something
the
about
presidential treatment, which is he's going to get shit on by one side and he's going to get glossed over all the crap that he does on the other side, and that's just the way it is.
All right, I'm going to throw it to Serenity.
I guess to end it, I would say that I believe that Biden should be criticized more for the things that he does. And yeah, I guess I agree with the presidential treatment stuff. Um, yeah, that's all. That's all.
All right. I'm going to throw it to CTV.
Well, it's as much as I'd love to agree with Jason, right? When he says that there's no legitimate media, I think that that goes counter to what I said to begin with. So here goes, right? Like individual content creators, like the people that you see on this panel, that are trying to get out there, find out what's going on, and put it out there. I don't think that they have like an inherent bias more so than their own personal philosophies. So as long as they're willing to admit that they don't know what the fuck they're, like what everything is, and this is the limited amount of knowledge that I have, and this is what I've been searching and trying to find it for you. This is where like you can get some more legitimate fucking news sources, but that's where like the streaming world is inherently different than like any of these mainstream news sources because the people that are here are just everyday fucking people, just like you are. They're trying to find out what the truth is. And because of that, and then like the ability for people that are just continue to check out some of your other content, get to view who you are over time and be able to see like how consistent is this person? Are they actually putting on just a show and there's disingenuousness between this behavior, that behavior, or are they actually who they say they are? And the more truth that comes out in that way is where I think you're going to end up finding the future of news media content. There's still going to be journalists obviously out there asking questions. There's obviously still going to be, news media is doing their thing. But in reality, I think that there might end up being more of a paradigm shift as far as the minds of everyday people, because they're going to get, that people inherently want to find truth, and they can do that a lot better with people that they can interact with on a day or every other day basis.
All right, I'm going to throw it to Birbash Johnson.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with everything Jason here was saying about, the presidential treatment, especially from the most dominant, like old, what people will often call old. Yeah. And one thing that I was kind of trying to get at, but didn't really get a chance to, is like, I am like, I myself being like a further left person. I am go to my YouTube channel. Like pretty like a lot of my videos are me talking shit on Democrats, but and the little left wing media you can find, I would actually say maybe they would even potentially give Joe Biden the potentially fairest treatment, because they're not trying to by this I mean the closest thing to like a really further left leaning like mainstream media outlet that I can think of is Democracy Now, which has a very obvious lean but still does like quality and reporting on things. And they've been very critical of the Biden administration themselves, just not the same type of way that Fox is, where it's very obviously because partisan bias to like the direct other side that's supposedly Biden. Not that much further left than Republicans. But anyhow, another thing that we need to think about with when it comes to talking about objectivity in journalism is we should try to achieve it, but true objectivity it doesn't exist. It's not possible. And like embracing that notion is part of the reason why Gonzo happened. And so that's another thing that we need to consider when we're consuming media. I try to consume media from like as many different sources. And for the reason that it is not possible to have a completely truly objective account of something. And I wish it, like, for the most part, more people would do that, because this is especially a problem with like the Fox News and Newsmax viewers, but also a problem with MSN and NBC viewers. They tend to just like the same way that as a culture we've built a cult around the office of the States and whoever. We also, a lot of people have like built this cult around the things that they get their fucking news from. That's a really bad mentality, and that's something that we do need to like work on as a societal level, even outside of the outlets themselves. But the closest thing that you can really have to like an objective journalist is somebody like fucking Jim Lehrer, who was the old anchor of the NewsHour on PBS. That guy was so committed to trying to be objective that he didn't fucking vote. So I'm sorry, that was a bit of a ramble. It was stuff that I like wanted to say, and I figured I'd sum it up with that. Basically, we could sit here and bicker over who's covering Biden more fairly or harshly, and whatnot, and then let it go into other diatribes. But yeah, that's one thing I agree with Jason, and also Tiberius was talking about it too. I think they're pretty spot on with that.
All right, and I'm going to
That
fade
was such
to
a fucking
Trick Switch.
ramble. Geez.
I think, yeah, as long as the two sides of the media keep playing the is my audio good?
You're good.
Sound great.
Okay, so as long as the two sides of the media keep playing up the whole like, oh, this guy's on our team, we're gonna make this coverage really fucking incredible. This other guy did something that our guy also has done or whatever, but like he's not on our team, we're gonna scathe him. I think the whole thing comes off very bullshit. It's like entertainment. It feels like I'm watching like a kid's football game, and I like, oh, I know who this channel's cheering for. That news channel's cheering for the other team. They don't actually give a shit about policies. They only care about the ad rates, the sponsors, and how many clicks their articles are getting. Yeah, I have a big problem with major news media. I hate them.
I feel like everybody should.
All right, and with that being said, I think that concludes this topic. Real quick, before jumping into the palette cleanser, give me just a sec. Yeah, I just wanted
Are we
to
still
say,
on
first of
closing
all-
statements?
No, we finished.
Okay, it's over. All right, cool.
Yeah, sorry. Before jumping into the next topic, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for being here, and also for everyone in basically everyone's community. Please go follow our panelists. Thank you for taking time from your busy schedule to be here and everything. It's really appreciated. And speaking of, yeah, none of this would be possible without the wonderful work of Danable, who is working really hard behind the scene. I know that you all got an invite from him, so yeah, you know how. Yeah. So if you want to support
Janibo's
him,
back, baby.
hell yeah. If you want to support him, twitch.tv/Danabo and also shellshockcbd.com. Code Danabo and you get 10% off your order. And yeah, with that being said, bonus topic.
Yeah, Geek. There's a reason I haven't sent you the bonus topic. All right, so I'm gonna tell you the bonus topic right now. So there's no opening statements on this. You just go into it, and I want Geek to start off with this. I want to know what you think the most important part of a pizza is. Is it the dough, the base? Is it the sauce, or is it the toppings? And then I want you to tell me why it's the base. All right, go.
Wait, Danabo, can you tell me, like, did you say pizza?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's what you were
The
trying to
most
say?
important
Got it.
part of a pizza.
Got it,
Is
got
it the dough, the base? Is it the sauce, or is it the toppings? And then I want you to explain to me why it's the dough. Go. Geek.
If you like a pizza for the dough, you basically like a sandwich for the bread. That's all I have to say.
I'm on push to talk, but
What's wrong with liking the sandwich for the bread, you fucking bigot? Bread bigot?
If you
There's
like
only
the bread,
two-
just
there's
take the
only-
bread. Don't get
There's
the
only
sandwich.
two answers here. It's sauce or dough. If you choose anything else, you don't know pizza. All right, that's it.
Yes, sauce or dough would be the base, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go with
I love
sauce.
how
I-
basically
like-
this is a bad joke from Danabo that is backfiring on him because he thought that he will make a point with the dough, but like no one is agreeing with him.
I think it's the base.
Except Danabo. Yeah, it's totally the dough. You're fucking nuts,
No,
geek. You're
It's
fucking
the
nuts.
sauce.
No,
It's
it's
the
not
sauce.
the sauce. No,
The
It's the
sauce,
sauce
hey,
because
it's
bad
the
sauce will make the
sauce.
whole pizza
Look,
taste
there's
horrible.
inherently like a difference between like Papa John's crust and Pizza Hut's crust, right?
Hey guys, I don't think you
Or,
understand.
Like,
I don't
and
think you
even go
understand.
into the fucking sandwich realm, like there's a difference between Subway breads, right? Like you can have white
No,
bread, you can have
DTV,
fucking
you don't know good. You
Italian
don't know
herb
good
and
pizza.
cheese.
You don't
you
know
get all
good
different types
pizza.
of
You're in
bread.
Florida.
I'm gonna
Like,
You don't
get
know
your
good pizza.
alcohol status, dude.
Look,
This
I'm
is-
up
this
here.
is
I'm up
then,
here
terrible
in the
and
East
thing.
then
Coast.
also you can get the fucking thin crust, right?
I'm up here in
Like,
the Northeast. I was just in Atlantic City. Okay, I know. Okay,
hi,
and my family's from
ivermectin
New
works.
Jersey,
you just
New
you
York.
created your
Alright, look.
account
No,
only
don't
You
say
8
it.
hours
look,
ago.
look,
Your
dough
account
and
is
sauce.
spam.
Dough and sauce work together like this. You can't separate those two things because
Yeah.
if
Oh,
dough
bullshit.
is shit and the
No.
sauce is good, then you still have a shit pizza. But you have to have dough and sauce. The toppings or whatever. That's why, like, if you ever get a
Right.
good slice of $2 pizza in like New York City and it's banging, it's usually cheese. There's no toppings on it. It's just cheese.
yeah,
And
but
you're
even
just
the
fucking
sauce is
slamming that
interchangeable
shit
because
drunk on in like Times Square, or Manhattan, or wherever the fuck
yeah,
you're
but
at.
even,
wrong with
but
that?
even the
Queens.
sauce is interchangeable because depending on the crust, you might not use the same fucking sauce, right? Example,
No.
when you get a thin crust, right, you might get a fucking
There's
might
only
get
one crust.
a chicken
No, good
parmesan
sauce is
fucking
good
pizza
There's
sauce.
no
with
difference
some ranch
when you
fucking
go up-
dressing as a sauce,
When
right?
you go up to the pizza capital of the
Yeah,
world,
so there
there's
ain't
only
no
one
fucking-
crust, and it is
There's
thin.
no red
It
sauce on
doesn't
that.
get-
So what?
We're
what's
not
that?
talking about Chicago fucking AIDS pizza. We're talking about real pizza, okay? New
Okay,
York
you can
style.
stop right now.
And there's only one.
It's
And where there's
pizza!
only one crust. Okay,
The
Tiberius,
closer
you're
you
about to
get, the
thank. Are
closer
you about
you
to?
get to Chicago, the better the
I'm-
pizza
I'm a-
is.
No,
I'm gonna
Chicago
chime in
is
and say
lasagna. It's
I'm a
lasagna,
pe-
and it's
I'm
not
a pe-
pizza.
I've been a
Move-
I don't
pizza
moving
care.
on.
delivery guy for
All right,
10
when
years.
we're talking about
There-
pizza,
my opinion is automatically
It's
most
called
important
deep dish,
part-
baby. Let's fucking
it's
go.
fucking lasagna. It's not pizza.
Hey, you know what? If you have
My
a
wife and
pizza
kids
that
are at
is
home.
so-
I'll yell at you about pizza all night.
You're
all right?
welcome to try it, man. If your pizza is so fucking badass that it turns into a half lasagna, you've done it right. I don't care.
Consider
Time to
myself
yell,
a
ladies.
pizza
It's time to
expert.
yell.
I have the One Bite app from Dave Portnoy and Barstool Sports, so I kind of know how pizza,
Why do you
like
keep
how pizza's
referencing
supposed
people
to
that
be.
no one cares
right?
about? What the
You don't
fuck?
even know. You don't even know, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
we
pizza.
don't even know.
A pizza is worth more than the. Hold on. A pizza is worth more than the
Dude,
sum
you're
of its
from
parts.
Canada.
Okay,
They don't even
that's
have
like
pizza
telling
up there,
no,
bro.
yeah,
You guys
no,
only
no.
put mayonnaise
Shut it,
and
fool.
corn on
Shut
shit.
it, fool. Okay, that's like saying I only love this man for his giant deck. Okay,
You don't even
okay.
like
A
pizza.
deck
You're
is
from
nice.
Canada.
A
You're
deck
from
is nice. It's
Canada.
very
They don't have
enjoyable.
pizza
But
there.
there's a
They
lot
don't
more
even have-
things that go into a man than a deck. Okay.
They don't even have pizza there in Montreal. You can't talk
What
about
the-
pizza. You don't. It's something you know nothing
We have a
about.
better pizza. We have better pizza than you could ever imagine.
You probably put
okay?
fucking mayonnaise and vinegar on your pizza up
There's a
there.
lot
and
of
fucking
Ita- there's
fuck
a
You know
lot of
Canada.
what?
Italian
Listen, bigger on the pizza. I still think that shit.
All right.
Danabo,
What's
why'd
up?
you do this to us?
Danabo,
I'm
love you.
a-
Thank you.
So I'm a I've been a pizza delivery guy or just a food delivery guy in general for like all of my work.
An
True, we
expert.
got an
An
expert.
So if
expert.
anybody, for those who have not worked in that line of work, my opinion's automatically worth more than yours. But yeah, the whole pizza being more than the sum of its parts is opinion, not instruction. But
Of course, it's based. I said it.
Yeah.
Wait, what are our thoughts?
The base, the crust is definitely something important because mother of God, I cannot. Or actually, no. The most important part is the oven. You can make the most garbage fucking ingredients taste fucking good cooking it on a real stone. Whereas
Oh
you
my
can
God.
put great ingredients through a conveyor belt oven and it still tastes like shit. I worked at
Oh
a
my
place
God.
that had like farm to table meat, but cooked it on a conveyor belt oven and it still tasted like fucking shit. That's the ultimate truth about pizza. And
Oh
you
my
can
God.
make-
Typical leftist blaming pizza quality on fucking capitalism.
Oh my god.
Now here's the reality. There's only one real answer to this question, and nobody here has even came close. I know Danabo is about to let everybody know that the only answer that is acceptable to this question is Lego
Pineapple.
Batman.
Oh my
The hell is Freems doing here?
I heard you guys needed someone with some thicker bones to come in and talk about pizza real quick. Who
No,
who
Danabo.
said
Look, Danabo. This is supposed to be the fucking palate cleanser, and you bringing up pizza. This is an abomination. All right,
No,
you
this
should be
is the
fired.
new main
It's not a
topic of
palate
the
cleanser.
show
I'm
now.
so mad right now that people think Chicago pizza is good. You know, I'd rather eat a shingle from a roof with like AIDS blood on it than fucking Chicago pizza. All right.
If you need a spoon
fucking
to eat
lasagna,
Chicago
it's not
pizza,
pizza.
it can't be good pizza.
It's absolutely delicious, Tricks.
who
I
said
like
If you need a
dough?
I like 'em
spoon
both.
to eat it, it's not good.
These
I
are
like
like
I've had
takes
it
made by
before,
people
it's
that don't
okay,
fold their
but I'm
pizza
not
in
that big a
half
fan.
before they eat it.
So
These
look,
are takes
before-
that
all about
people
the
that don't fold
execution.
their pizza.
if you're
are making
not
these
used
takes.
to it for the first time, sometimes you need a spoon. We'll get you trained up. We'll teach you the ways of the Chicago
No, you,
pizza.
you,
It'll be
you don't
great.
fold your pizza. You're not human. You're from a space
Oh,
Why
planet
would you
the
fold
first
your
that I don't want to be
pizza?
friends with.
It's
We
gotta
should
be
nuke you.
lasagna.
We're
It
gonna
makes
nuke your
it
planet.
lasagna.
If
What
you
the
fold a
fuck,
pizza,
dude?
that's just a sandwich. A folded
Yeah, but
pizza
you
is
don't
a
like
sandwich.
dogs, so your opinion's invalid.
No, it's not. No, it's not. That's a Stardust
is.
thing. We're not on the Stardust Chaos Cast. Okay, fucking
I don't know
pizza
who that is.
folded. There's a whole like coast that's like 1,000+ miles all the way down the East Coast where they fold their pizza in half so they don't dump grease all over their lap like a bunch of morons. Okay, you don't
How
understand
greasy
it.
is your fucking pizza?
How do you dip? How do
Very.
you dip your pizza in ranch? How do you get your crust in ranch if you don't fold
Wait,
it?
what?
You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. You don't even
No, ranch is
understand.
fucking gross.
You
I
guys
mean,
don't
go
fucking
ahead and enjoy
understand
that shit
pizza,
if you
all
want,
right?
but no.
You don't know the
Chicago
$2.
pizza is
You get
bad.
the $1.50, $2 slices in New York City. You guys have never had them, and it's
Oh my
clear. Okay,
God.
you guys are a bunch of
Crunchloyd thinks he has amazing pizza 'cause he dips
you're a bunch
everything
of
in fucking massive
non-intellectuals.
amounts of
Freems,
alcohol.
help me. Freems, help me, please. I hope you don't like Chicago pizza, because I'll
No,
just leave the panel. I'm leaving the panel.
fuck Chicago pizza.
Yes,
Like-
it's lasagna. It's not pizza.
Who would ever be like the best pizza comes from the Midwest? No, fuck
Hey,
that.
Fuck
Freems,
no, bro.
I
That
think
Chris
your-
Farley
your
pizza.
Your
mic
Fuck
mic
you,
is
Tiberius.
unmuted on.
And
Your
with
mic
it.
is
Alright,
unmuted on the
alright.
website.
I'm sorry. I know we.
Sorry, I don't get invited on panels much these days. So, you know,
Yeah,
I kinda
let's
forgot
go.
what was all
Frames,
about.
you got the
Me
phone.
neither.
Who said bread? Who said the dough?
I said
Mr.
dough and
Geek did.
sauce. I said
CTV.
both.
No. Me, I say sauce. I
It's
just want to
sauce.
say I say
It's
sauce.
both.
It's
It's dough and
sauce. No,
sauce.
it's sauce.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
It's
well,
both.
though, of course it's
It's not
both. You can't
sauce.
say,
Pretty
you
fucking
can't say it's
important.
both. If you have to pick one or the other, you got to pick one.
All
or
right,
the
I
other.
picked sauce.
Okay. Well, shit. There's not that much contentious stuff being said besides the fucking deep dish takes.
Yeah.
Who was
fucking
that?
loser.
Yeah, whoever said
Tiberius.
this, I'm sorry,
Is
you're
anyone
wrong.
checking
Tiberius,
on Tiberius?
I'm not conservative anymore because Tiberius fucking likes Chicago deep
Great!
dish.
Get out of my
I'm
fucking
out of here, bro. I'm
Get
out of
off
here.
my lawn.
This is
Get
why
out.
no one hears from Tiberius anymore. Because of these fucking takes.
Fucking lasagna pizza, you fucking
You-
madman.
You all can eat my ass. Midwest represent. Let's go.
What kind of is it? Would your ass be the most important part of a pizza at this point?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
You guys want me to really piss you off? The
Yeah,
most
what's that?
important part of the pizza is the pineapple.
Get him out of here.
that-
I don't
Ban,
mind
ban,
pineapple.
no,
Gross.
ban him. Get him out of here.
No,
Get him out of here,
gross.
guys.
That's what I've been
Yes,
saying.
man.
Pineapple
Look,
is the
get
best
him
part of
him
pizza.
out of here. He doesn't belong.
That's
No,
that's
pineapple
not
does not
okay.
go on pizza. Get him out.
Oh, it
Get him.
totally does.
Hold on.
And I'm
No.
sorry. I'm
Anything
sorry.
belongs
Your
on
little,
pizza.
your little
Pineapple pizza-
immature
Not
What do they
anything.
baby
You want
palate
anchovies
isn't
on that
evolved
pizza?
enough to handle it.
Yeah.
Wait, what do
It
they call
totally
what do they
does.
call pineapple on pizza? Is it a
That's
Hawaiian?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
that's
that's
ham and
racist.
pineapple.
That's
Yeah,
Listen,
racist.
I do
Pineapple and
He's
ham
is-
being
Alright.
racist. Get him out.
I do
Real
chicken,
quick,
bacon,
anything on a
pineapple,
pizza is
banana
better.
pepper.
1
I
minute.
like pineapple on pizza. All right, chill.
First of all,
I'm just kidding.
I want to hear from critically thinking veterans. I want to hear the take.
You
know
want to
what
hear
they're
the
doing.
take?
Yes.
From the
We
Wolf
swapped
can?
out. So Wolf of Corn is taking CTV's spot.
Hell yeah.
You're gonna get
Hell
slayed.
yeah.
Alright. The
She makes the
topic
best sweet
is
tea, by the
most-
way. Best sweet tea in Florida, made by the Wolf of Corn.
Thank you, Crunch.
Speaking of tea, spill
Got
it.
you, babe.
Give us all the tea on
TCA,
CTV while
already-
we're here.
Sweet tea.
This panel is quickly devolving into.
Wait, I have a
chaos.
resolution.
just
Yeah.
have to say
I have a
this.
resolution
Hey,
to this,
Sliff
okay?
Colapris
To all the
and
people who
Robo
said that
Darlings,
they
thanks
prefer
for following
sauce,
earlier. I
do you eat the
apologize
crust of
that
the
my
pizza when
fucking
you eat the
alerts
pizza?
didn't.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
With
What does that
butter.
gotta
Oh,
do
yeah.
with
Because if you
anything?
don't
yeah.
eat the crust, that means you're not a real pizza eater. The crust.
Well,
is
I'm
I
not
eat
gonna
the
talk
crust.
about
I
the
eat
The
the
crust is
crust.
delicious. No, don't get me wrong.
Get
Yeah.
lost.
Here's
I'm
the
glad
thing,
everyone
this
knows
is
the
But
what
rules.
that sauce will give you heartburn.
What if I'm cutting carbs?
Listen, don't listen to him.
Why are
he's
you
the
eating pizza in the
joker.
first place, Monty?
He's just here to sow
I've-
chaos.
Montreal, you're in
That's it.
Canada. Nobody cares about your pizza takes.
They don't
These
even have
guys don't
pizza in
even eat
Montreal.
fucking
You care
pizza.
so much about my pizza. I'll come on a fucking piece of
You
dry
guys
pita
just-
and
you
you'll
guys just
love
eat
it.
fucking moose. You just eat moose and whatever the fuck else. Canadian bacon, which is ham. I don't get that at all. You guys are a bunch of morons. Look, Binks, go ahead.
I'm done.
Of course, bacon is ham.
All right, trick switch. Go ahead. Your
Hold
take.
on, is bacon and ham is the same fucking food? First
Thank
of
you.
all, second of all,
Not in
anything
America.
anything goes on a pizza,
No, it's not.
and it's a
Stop.
pizza. You can
Skip.
have a dessert pizza, where you get the fucking like
Exclamation point,
chocolate and ice
skip.
cream on it. That's a pizza.
No, I actually disagree.
You can have
Listen,
anything.
listen.
You can have
No.
anything on a pizza called a
No,
pizza.
no,
No, listen,
Yes.
listen. I hate when people get into this like perverted territory where they're like, "Ooh, I'm gonna take some sugar cookie and make it in a big circle, and they put fruit on it. It's a fruit pizza."
No, I'm
No,
talking dough. I'm
fucking
talking dough.
food pervert. It is not.
I'm talking
Bro, I've
pizza
been to
dough.
Australia. I've been to
fruit.
You
Australia.
literally
Their
said you like
pizza is
pineapple on
fucking
pizza, okay? I'm not
shit.
taking it.
Okay, their pizza in Australia is fucking shit.
We have the
I
exact
took the-
same pizza
look,
as you.
I took the pop filter off my fucking mic just to tell you how shit their pizza is
We have
in
the
Australia.
same pizza.
I've been to Melbourne, I've been to Sydney, and I've been to Perth. All their pizza is fucking shit.
That's the
Tricks-
difference between pizza
Tricks,
and
mute your
pizza.
mic. Mute your mic. Moving on. Next person. Go ahead.
All right, can I go? Can I go with a natural take
Yes.
here?
We go to the
I want
next
to
spot.
hear Montreal answer.
All right, hold on. Okay. Look, there's a lot of great parts to pizza. Okay, you got the bread, you got the sauce, you got the toppings. Okay, but the one thing that makes pizza fucking fantastic, okay, is the most important part. The most important part of pizza is the motherfucking weed, baby. It's the
Vinegar, 'cause they're in
motherfucking weed.
Canada.
All right,
Put
yeah,
the
that's right.
vinegar
It's
on the
legal
pizza.
here. Can you smoke weed? Can you smoke weed legally? I can.
Yes,
I
you
can
can.
put it
I
on
can.
pizza.
I
I
can.
can
Yeah.
put it
I can
in
smoke weed
large
legally.
quantities and put it on pizza. Shut the fuck up. You're in the
Can you
United
own
States.
guns?
You don't
Can
say anything,
no,
okay?
how much
So
is
what
it
you're
I can
cost to
tell you
saying-
on
own a gun?
What you're
legally.
saying
I can
is
own
in
guns
Canada-
legally, no
Take your
problem.
weed.
What you're
I'm
saying
Excuse
is
me, take your weed.
people.
in Canada, you
Canadian.
gotta be
I'm-
high to eat their pizza. Is what he's saying.
Wait, I had a question
Okay,
for
now
that
your
drive me to
Brad
smoking weed.
What the
Johnson.
fuck?
You said you were a pizza delivery driver. What like restaurant? Is it like a major chain?
Nah, I've never worked for any. And then one time I worked for like a joint that was like a local joint that had 2 locations, but the people who owned it like really Papa John. Back.
Wait, like Papa John's is good?
Papa John's is delicious. What are you talking about?
Oh my god.
Oh, fuck.
I don't know why
I'm
these
gonna-
people wanted to.
Look,
That was
look,
this was
I'm
the
sure-
place that I was talking about when I was saying like, yeah, that this is how I know from experience that you can take like really high quality like supposed like farm to table ingredients. They're like local first and it, and they'll still taste like shit.
Look, Beer Bash
Oh,
Johnson, I need you to
really
DM me.
capitalism.
I need you to DM me because I feel like if you delivered my pizza, it would taste better. So we'll talk about pizza and shit. We'll have to do that at a later date. But
Yeah,
Yeah, do
beer
you
bags
make
is
sexy
kinda-
deliveries?
I
Alright.
feel
You
like
can
Beer
tell
Bass
this
got to
limited.
chuck you a
Alright,
fucking
alright,
bush
alright.
latte and be like, "Yo, let's shotgun," and then you hand you your pizza, and I'll be like, "Bro, yeah, it would be a good deal."
I've had
Let's
customers
go.
Real
tip me
quick,
in
real
weed
quick,
before.
real quick. Sorry. Wolficon hasn't had the chance to give a take about like what is the most important thing on a pizza. The
Of
dough.
course, no, the stuffed crust dough. I love light sauce, not very heavy. Heavy cheese. I want that shit melty. When you pull it apart, it is just coming apart. Hey, that's my opinion. It doesn't have to be necessary what you like, but it is mine. I
Wolf
like
corn,
it completely supreme, the whole 9 yards.
Wolf corn. I love the lunch that you cook me in CTV and the sweet tea and stuff. But you don't know fucking shit about pizza.
Man.
Hey,
This is why I think
love
Crunch
you
is
though.
actually
I love you.
Crunch
I
is
love
a
you.
crypto
Hey.
leftist. Crunch is actually a leftist because he has these pretentious ass takes. He's like, oh well, the New York is the best.
He really is.
In the
Shut
world.
the fuck up, bro. I live in
You
Maryland.
really
okay?
are. You really
Okay,
are.
there we
You
go.
really are a crypto leftist. It is
Bro,
insane.
I'm wearing
You have so
camouflage.
many
I have a fucking.
leftist takes. It's insane. Last time I talked to you, I'm like,
Shut
isn't that a leftist position? Isn't that a leftist
Shut up.
position?
Shut
Isn't that a
up,
leftist
man.
position?
Shut up. You
It's
don't
true.
know what you're
Monty
fucking
is the
talking
real
about.
right winger
I've got like
because he's
guitars
really
and
like,
guns
yo,
in
I
my
just want to
fucking
be high and eat pizza.
backdrop.
That's the conservative.
I
take,
shot a
right?
crossbow on my stream. I live in Maryland, but I live in like the western
called
side of
virtue
Maryland,
signaling.
where all
That's called
the
virtue
weirdos
Oh,
live.
so you
right?
didn't buy your meat through capitalism? Oh, that's very
No,
leftist
I
of you.
hunt my meat because I'm not a pussy like all you Canadians that can't hold guns.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
Okay,
it's
okay.
fucking,
Yeah.
hey, the rut's
Hey,
coming.
hey.
I'm
I filled my
going.
freezer. I filled my freezer last year, and I didn't buy groceries for a fucking till now. Now I need to kill deer. I got
It's
1
very
week where I
leftist
bought
of you
burgers
to
on
source
on
local.
fucking.
I will field dressing,
grocery store.
sir.
Wait,
You don't even understand.
Crunch literally said he was going to go to Bonnaroo last week. Okay, that's how much of a
It
hit
got
he is.
canceled. I had to go to Atlantic City instead and gamble and lose all my money. But this weekend we're gonna go hunting. Don't worry
I
about
still
it.
call bullshit.
Trims,
Yeah.
got something to add?
No, I'm done.
No, well, this is a while back, but someone was talking about eating crust or whatever. I guess a good way to break it down is if you're eating a pizza, you had to choose. Would you rather eat a bowl full of the toppings or just the bread?
The toppings.
Exactly.
The bread.
Toppings
Bread.
with the sauce. Yeah.
It's like
I'd
just
rather
take bread,
eat
no
the
sauce,
bread and
no
the
anything.
sauce.
Just
I'll take
pizza dough, any oven, no toppings.
I'd
just
rather
want a
have
bowl
just like a bowl of sauce
cheese
and the
and
fucking and the
pepperoni?
bread.
No,
I'll
you
take
don't
the
get, you
toppings.
don't get
Can I have
both.
those?
You don't get
Both
bread
options are
and,
awful, by the
and
way. Both
toppings.
options are.
That
I
actually
don't want to
sounds
do either.
really
No,
one.
it's like tomato soup. You just dip the fucking the dough
like
right in the
soup.
fucking sauce. That sounds way better.
All right.
Yeah, I like that.
breadsticks.
Serengeti, we didn't hear from you a lot. What's your take?
So I would say, first of all, I'm 4% Italian.
I've been distracted.
And I would
by
say
trying
that
to
the
figure out
the
what was up in
most
my-
important part is the crust, the dough. I think yeah.
I like how
That's-
you come
I
in with
agree with
I'm
Diablo.
4% Italian.
Yeah,
I'm
that,
sorry,
that,
how many
Not
Italian
the
are you? How many
olives,
percent
not
Italian
the
are you?
tomatoes,
She's 4%
not
Italian.
the.
She's literally 4% Italian. How percent Italian are you? 0.
Look,
No wins.
here's my problem. They
Well,
need to
does
make
it count if
boudin
you've had an
pizza. Me and
Italian
Banks
in you?
agrees. Boudin pizza.
That's true.
Sorry,
Yes.
Wolficon, what did you say?
I said,
No,
does it count if you've had an Italian inside of you? I mean, that would make me part
Ew.
Italian at a time, right?
All right, that's saucy. That's saucy.
That's
That's
another
it.
debate. I think that's a debate for another day.
Thank you so
That's
much.
a whole different kind of sauce.
I thought this was
Yeah.
supposed to be a palate cleanser.
Alright.
I'm like angry that people like Chicago style pizza.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh my god.
For the record, I would forgo the bread, the toppings, and just give me the weed.
Bro, I'd rather
that-
just
that
I would
being
rather
said,
eat
okay.
like sand on the beach in like when you get the
That's
sand in
because
the
you're a
bag of chips
degenerate.
and you actually crunch you don't know there's sand in the bag of chips and you crunch
You just
into
didn't
it,
have the munchies bad enough.
and you're like,
That's
oh
all it is.
fuck my teeth. That I would rather
Right.
have that feeling like nonstop than eat Chicago deep dish. There it
All
is.
right, and with that being said, I don't know if we can say that our palate has been cleansed, but yeah, I think it's time to move on.
Thank
But
you.
yeah,
Thank you.
That wasn't
yeah, I just wanted to thank
happening. I am just
Friends for
testing my
coming by.
Yeah,
Really
yeah,
appreciate it.
absolutely. Y'all,
That is
you guys
not
have
an
a good
actual
rest of
raid
the
happening.
panel.
Good to see you, friend.
That was
Later,
just
y'all.
the
Twitch.tv/friends. Really good dude. And Binks too.
me testing my
even if he
alerts.
left.
Why is my
Yeah, Twitch.tv, Binks_BB. Two wonderful people. Go drop them a follow.
Yeah, he's doing a cryptid stream too about Bigfoot and shit.
fuck is my mic so
Coming up.
quiet? Thank you,
Binks
Boy
is
Meets Me.
based.
Strange. Hold up. And I just fuck, it appears that I have like lost audio to my headset. I apologize. So. The hell? Yeah, just I can't hear them and they're fuck.
Yeah, so I think I mean, I don't know how old this guy was or whatever. I mean, I know I've seen a lot of
I don't know what the
little
fuck was
like
going on
polls going on leftist chats, i.e. Vosh, that just says "fuck them," you know. But at the end of the day, right? These are human beings, and if you can't explain to them good enough, I mean, like people are dumb. We all know people are fucking stupid. But if you can't talk them into getting the vaccine, I mean, I was in the military. I get all the vaccines. I'm vaccinated, but I understand why people aren't getting vaccinated is because this has been so politicized, where people feel like it's like a right wing take or a left wing take to get vaxxed or
It's the
not get
right wing
vaxxed.
who
I think that's the issue. I feel bad that people are dying, but I don't know. Was it the vaccine that would have kept him from dying? Or was this some like 450-pound fucking fat fuck that didn't care about like personal like well-being or any of those things, and then they died? You know, those are things to take account. I mean, it's not like a single issue. You probably have to look into it deeper. Like, oh, this guy had diabetes, and he was like 500 pounds, and he was anti-vax, and then he died. I don't think it would have made a difference whether he got a vaccination or not, but I mean, we'll see. I guess that's my take.
All right. I'm going to throw it to Sarah and Kitty.
I will say that that we should absolutely show
Okay.
sympathy for people who fell for
I don't know why my mic just
misinformation
did
and
that. That was
propaganda.
really weird.
Like Jason said, most of them have been misled and lied to, pretty much deceived into not getting vaccinated. And I think my lack of sympathy lies with people like Joe Rogan, who, you know, are like the propagandists who go and spread that misinformation. And now he's spreading even more by doing the ivermectin stuff. And I guess I would respond to Crunch Lord. If you die when you have the illness or when you have COVID, you're dying from COVID. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter like your state of being. The illness killed you.
All right. I'm going to throw it to Tiberius.
Cool. I'm of two minds in this, and there's where one starts, and then where there's one where one ends. So the first part is that I've been talking about misinformation. Trusted
Yeah, same.
institutions for a
Yeah,
very
I
long
feel
time
the
now.
same way, Ro.
I'm
There's
a
a lot
right
of
winger, and
willful
I've openly said
ignorance.
that one of the problems among the right is that for a while we had this whole thing we were going to criticize institutions because we were kind of raised that way. That's kind of a Reagan era over effect where, hey, you know, the institutions aren't always going to be there for you. You need to have self responsibility. You need to take care of yourself. The problem is that that is now like hit critical mass and terminal velocity to the point where most right wingers are very openly skeptical of the institutions that we have, and that's across the board. Under that, guys, I am sympathetic because a lot of people don't trust their institutions. But on the other side, where that completely ends, is that people are openly going up to the medical professionals, or if you will, looking at the medical community, and they're saying, hey, look, get your vaccine. It is going to help you. There are complications, but it's not hard to figure out what they're actually trying to say. And you have millions upon millions of people that are openly going, no, I'm smarter than them. There's a level of either just Dunning-Kruger or hubris there that I cannot respect, and my sympathy completely goes out the window when it hits that point. I'm sorry, but most of the medical community is smarter than you when it comes to medical shit. And if you want to tell them that they're not good, then you're putting your own life in your hands. And I'm not going to have a lot of sympathy regarding that. We'll get into the technical details in the aftershot. So that's my opening statement.
All right, I'm going to throw it to CTV. Oh, sorry, Wolfie called.
Yeah, I gotta change that back. So while I'm doing that, let's lay the framework here, right? Which is
Yeah,
there's
the
a lot
bulk
of
of
people
people
that
who are being
Tiberius said
weird
for
about
whatever
the
reason end up
vaccine
not trusting their
aren't
government.
willing to give
They
any
end up not
arguments in
trusting them because
favor
they
of the
understand
vaccine, like a fair
incentivization,
hearing.
right?
They're
So
super
like the
bad-faced
loss of
about it.
your sympathy for these people because they can understand the incentivization of these organizations to for whatever it is that they're incentivized to do. Like at the core of it, right? What we have is government doing a thing for decades that has led to the level of distrust that these people, right, have between the government in this one instance. It could just be that you just have people out there that are like, it's my fucking body, and if I don't want to fucking do it, oh fucking well, right? Like I just don't want to do it. And in any case, whatever it is, right, that person has to make the choice at the end of the day. Now, whether or not you can choose to show sympathy, right, should really just come down to your own basic humanity, right? Because if it's, you know, like you can look at someone that's, you know, walked out in front of a bus, right, and they got hit, but it didn't kill them, and they're fucking laid out there, you know, like on fucking GTA. You know what I mean? They're fucking laid out there. Their fucking legs are broke. Whatever the case is, you're like, you know, you can feel some sympathy for that person, right? Even though you know their dumb ass is the one who walked in front of the fucking bus. But that doesn't mean you don't stop, you know, motherfucking call an ambulance. You know, hey, you know, like what can I do to help you in this
worldwide
moment?
pandemic
You know
of
what I mean?
people
Unless you're
walking in
just
front of
that
buses?
completely cold-hearted asshole that just says, "Well, they're fucking problem," and he just carries on, and there ain't a soul around. You know, so it really that in and of itself is going to come down to the individual as well. So, I think that basic humanity, right? Regardless of the choices
yeah,
that
exactly.
people
They're
make,
not
it's one of
accidentally
those where
walking
it's
in front
like
of a bus.
there's no reason not to, unless you're just unless you feel no empathy. And I think that empathy is one of those gateways to sympathy. So.
All right, I'm going to throw it to Trick Switch.
Like someone would have the same opinion as me, and now I feel like an asshole. If someone's an anti-vaxxer and they die of COVID, okay, move on. I'm not gonna celebrate. I don't think we should celebrate their death. I think that's wrong. But I'm also not gonna take a moment and be like, "Aw, damn." Like they were actively putting other people in danger, yet somehow like the community expects us to feel bad when they're like, they couldn't give a shit about us. They are actively like trying to like hurt those who can't get vaccinated. So I don't think they're showing any sympathy or empathy, so I don't understand why they expect it to be shown back to them, if that makes sense.
So Trix confirmed to leave the guy
Alright.
after he got hit by the bus.
Well, Be a Bush Johnson.
Okay,
and
so
Tricks, your camera's frozen.
I know. My
Yeah,
that's
true.
really
I
bad.
forgot.
rip. But yeah, so I must say it's actually something of a sigh of relief to hear somebody like Tiberius say that they're like a generally right-leaning person and that they find it frustrating that there is such hubris and Dunning-Kruger effect in these people that like that
Don't be
are
too
like
impressed. He just learned that shit last week.
anyhow,
What?
sorry, I've had a few drinks. That's part of the reason why I keep stumbling on. But anyways, yeah. So hubris, Dunning-Kruger effect. That's it gives me a little bit of relief when I encounter somebody who's on the right that hasn't just like bought hook, line, and sinker into this complete cult of individualism with seemingly no care of the consequences for other people. And that's part of the reason why. So when it comes to the actual question at hand, do I feel sympathy for like COVID-19 anti-vaxxers and denialists who catch COVID-19 and die? Well, that depends. There are some people who are generally just like way too easily led and easily conned who get suckered into believing this like absolutely completely unscientific, well, straight up pseudoscientific bullshit about COVID-19 and the vaccine, who then catch it and die. And then regardless of the person who is in question that caught COVID-19 and died, I feel, especially if they die, I feel sympathy for them, for like, if they like left behind a family or something, I feel sympathy for those people. It's more difficult though to actually feel the sympathy for the person especially when it's somebody say like Joe Rogan, who is somebody with this massive platform or something like that, using it irresponsibly or otherwise being a fucking dildo about their like hesitancy to get vaccinated against COVID-19. And the reason why, and another part of this reason is because it is such a massive disservice and so callously inconsiderate of those people who actually cannot get vaccinated against it. And this isn't just with the COVID-19 thing either. I've long had this I've had this problem with people who are needlessly paranoid about vaccines in general. And so and these people, the people who are the misinformation peddlers here are like, they're profiting off the vaccine, and then oh, but then go sub to my YouTube, listen to my podcast on Patreon, buy my fucking vitamin water, or whatever, Super Male Vitality or whatever, and they're ultimately the ones profiting on it. They're inventing a problem, and then selling people the fucking solution. When those types of people catch COVID-19, something bad happens. I have very little sympathy for them. Just for people who are like other people who would be affected by something bad happening.
All right. I lost track of the people. Montreal player. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was wondering when I was thinking about this question, I'm like, what is an anti-vaxxer, right? Is it just people who are just like vaccine hesitant, right? For whatever reason? Because I tend to agree with, I guess, one or two of the people, right? For me, that's a massive trust issue, right? When you have government and big pharma coming in, okay, of course they have a solution.
Shit, I wanted to
for
include
something
your
that's a
chat
big
message
deal. Of
into
course,
that
it's a
row,
fucking
but
crisis,
I'm
right?
sorry.
I mean,
to.
whatever. It's not like
Fuck,
it's been this
my
before, but it's
rambling.
been like, I don't know, Iraq has WMDs. No, the NSA doesn't spy on Americans, right? We're not going to have another financial crisis, like anything, whatever. It's not like people aren't accustomed. It's not like people aren't accustomed from bullshit coming on from up high. Okay, where it turns out, you know what? Even if it's well intentioned bullshit, it's like, you know what? I'm just wait and find out. Okay, because you kind of have a shit track record. All right, and so if anybody's kind of like, if someone's listening to someone and this kind of resonates with them, and for whatever reason they decide, you know what, I don't think this is the right choice for me, and then something horrible happens, they're a human, right? They're human, and I absolutely do have sympathy for them. What I don't have sympathy for is, and maybe this is again a few other people's takes, is yeah, if you are profiting from spreading a message of the COVID's a hoax, the
I
vaccine's
also wanna
bullshit,
do
they're trying to fuck with
eyeball
you,
rip
or
thing when people are like,
they're trying to
"Big
fuck the
pharma."
global control or any of this stuff, and you're pushing this, and like all you have to do is stay in shape and not be such a fat ass or whatever, right? These people, and then they're making money off of it, okay, and then they get COVID and they suffer from it. That's justice. I mean, that's justice. I have no sympathy for their suffering. Not only did you make this your brand, okay, but you asked other people to take this risk for you. You know what kind of impact your voice has, right? With all these people like kind of going into it, okay, and you told them take this risk with your own life. Trust me, I got
exactly.
it, okay.
The
So
big
for you to
pharma-
take that
ivermectin's
stance and
literally a
not
big
take that
pharma
actual
product.
risk and not get COVID, I think is
Companies that make
dishonest in the
that
first
shit
place.
are all fucking huge.
You know, you believe in it. You think COVID's a hoax and stuff like that, and it's not really going to affect you that much. Fucking go out and get COVID. Show everyone. All right, since it's not bad, sell it. Okay, you're selling it. Fucking do it. Okay, I can't stand people who profit, okay, from things that they're not willing to take on their own. Okay, and I have nothing but contempt for them.
Open statements.
All right. Is there someone that I forgot?
No.
I think we're good.
All right, perfect. We can engage.
All right. So here's my vibes on it, right? You know, I did 8 years in the Marine Corps. I got the flu vaccine. I think 2009 is when they like the avian flu or bird, pig, whatever the fuck flu came about, and they made all the
Swine
military
flu.
people get it, and that's what it started. Like everybody, I got the flu vaccine every year for like 8 years, and then, I had never had the flu before. Like, I'm not fucking lying to you. I could show you my medical record. Never had the flu before. I got the vaccine. I got the flu every fucking year. It's a weird thing. I don't know, but one of the biggest things I wanted to explain to you guys is that every single pumpkin ale that have had tonight tastes exactly the same. They all taste like pumpkin, and it's just weird. They're all the same beer. It's the same beer. So if you like pumpkin ale, just buy one.
Oh
It
my
will taste the same as all the other. Okay, you could be that white bitch. You could put
Bunsen?
some fucking North Face jacket on with the leggings, and you can just whatever beer. Just say pumpkin, and they'll know what you're talking about.
This is literally negativity bias personified.
Carry on.
I hate you. God damn it.
So I want to say though, I had said earlier that I
Here's
really
the kind of the problem that I
would feel sympathy, but I do think that the peddlers of this disinformation, it's really hard to feel sympathy for them when they get it, because it's like, dude, you're selling the disinformation, man. You're actually causing
and the reality
pain
here at
of
the
these
end of the
other
day,
people.
especially if you're
So
going to be
I think
pointing
there
out
is
an
some of that.
individual content creator, say like Joe Rogan, right? Is it like, who makes Joe Rogan an authority on anything?
The
all the
idiots who
people
listen to
that
him.
people that do DMT. Everybody that does DMT.
Right. So at the core
like,
of
whoa,
this,
bro, you want to see aliens?
Have you ever done
hold on,
DMT?
right? So at the core of this, right? Fucking no one makes Joe Rogan an authority on anything, right? The only way he has any authority over you is if you give it to him, right? You have to. You'd have to believe every single fucking word that's being said, yada, 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 right? So that's the only way he has any authority. So in reality, whenever someone would say that they wouldn't feel sympathy, right, in these kinds of situations, is only pointing out, I think, most of the time, some sense of, say, like jealousy or envy of perhaps maybe the number of people that they've reached out here in this world, or just something that like prevents them from being able to fully experience empathy, right? Because different people have different tracks that they walk through in fucking life. And whenever it comes to something like a natural sickness, regardless of whatever your own immutable characteristics are, if you can't see somebody going through some shit and not just go, man, it sucks to be that guy.
But if you
At
have
a
DMT
fucking
though,
minimum, if you can't
have
at
you tried
least say,
DMT?
sucks to be that guy, then like where the fuck is
You
like
gotta
the
do
disconnect
DMT.
in your head? That's
I
what
wanna-
I want to fucking
There's
know.
always
I
going to
know,
be an
I-
element of
All right,
sympathy, but
wait,
you know,
wait,
you
wait,
kind of,
wait,
it's
wait,
kind of like,
wait, wait,
dang,
wait, wait.
dude, like, what the heck, man?
Tiberius, go
Appreciate it. I
ahead.
want to get to the meta conversation that Jason and CT that is between Jason and CTV, and that is the conversation of while we can blame the people who say things that will influence people, and they should at least have some kind of bearing here. We also have to talk about the inside of that, which is why are so many people listening?
Yep.
Why would people look at Joe Rogan and say, "Yeah, this guy totally knows what he's talking about. I should listen to him." He's a talk show host. Don't get me wrong; he might be an intelligent guy, but it doesn't mean he's certified as a doctor or an EMT or any kind of thing like that. And giving him power when it comes to medical decisions would be, to me, ridiculous. On the other side of that is that we can also talk about these people that will sell, and I'm not going to name anyone because I don't really care, is that we can have these people push these absolute narratives that you can't trust these folks, or these people have the Jewish space lasers, or whatever the fuck they're going to say next. We have to ask the question, what makes people so vulnerable to listening to something like that, I would hopefully assume most people think is blatantly dishonest. It does not match reality. There's cognitive bias there, right? Or cognitive dissonance, pardon me.
It must resonate with them for a reason. Yeah.
Yes. And that's kind of what I've been on. And this is something that scares me among my fellow righties that I see, is that there's just a blatant distrust for institutions. And Monty was kind of hitting it with what the conversation was that he was given. It's like, oh, well, you guys said that this was going wrong and this was going to happen and this was going to happen. It doesn't happen. It's true. Some people have bad track records. The problem that I have with that is that, one, people are expecting others to be saints, and we're not. We're going to fuck up from time to time. But worse is that it's a negativity bias. We're literally looking at the highlight reel, and we keep putting all the bad shit in it, but we never look at the good shit that the expert. We don't think about every time that you go to the doctor, they've got you fixed up in a fucking week. Unfortunately, that sometimes calls for pills, but most doctors, they know what they're talking about. And you know it too when you talk to them. Most politicians, if you actually have a conversation with them, do know something. They actually usually know a lot. The absolute disdain for expertise and intelligence has got me driven up the wall. And I apologize for my rant because it looks like I'm putting you all to sleep, but that's where I'm at. And that's a little bit from the heart and a little bit of observation as well.
I think
I think it was a valid space, quite
I'm a-
honestly.
Jason wanted to respond to CTV, who isn't here, so.
No, I was
Hey,
just
what's
gonna
good,
say
Reza?
that
How you
Riz,
doing?
he was completely valid in what he was saying. He's always here. You can hear him.
So, there's a level where I think sometimes people are way too trusting of the authorities. I think they do deserve to be questioned. But on the other side of that is the blatant disdain for just expertise just blows my goddamn mind. It's doctors, lawyers, all that shit. Go ahead.
I don't think you're
but,
comparing
like,
one.
The reality here is, let's not get too far away from it, right? Is sympathy. Sympathy is the core of what we're talking about here, right? Not intelligence. It's not like the people don't have experience. They don't have a bunch of different knowledge, which is where, like, specifically, I would say content creators that are showing up every day
This is what I
to
was
talk to
trying
their
to say,
communities, whatever they are, because there's a whole lot more of that happening, right? It's about, like, this has been my experience in life. Take it for what you will. This is where I land on the issue. You can agree, not disagree, doesn't fucking matter, right? But, like, when we're getting to the question of sympathy as to whether or not you should at least have the barest minimums of fucks for, like, sucks to be that guy, it's like, it makes me start wondering where there's something hindering you from being able to just care about all people instead of just being like, hey, this dude just got hit by the fucking bus. I can't at least call 911.
I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna say that I think it's hard for people when they don't see it, when they don't. It's
Yeah,
hard for
I'm
people
not
to
saying it
sympathize or
doesn't. It
empathize when
totally
they don't
sucks to be
see
that guy.
it,
It's
and
just
that's
like,
see it in their own lives, and that's unfortunate. Because not to go on an anecdote, but like I know people in my life who are
how do I say? I'm just trying to look for the
because
fucking
of,
words.
I would say propaganda that got to them when they were in a really rough, vulnerable time, and that's why propaganda works, right? That's when propaganda works. It's when they're when someone's in a vulnerable time, they get drawn into that message.
Do you really think that random people on fucking the internet are keeping people from getting vaccinated?
I think they take advantage of people.
Like, do you think some idiot like me could keep somebody from getting the vaccine if they really
Not like you.
thought
I
about
mean, like
getting it?
people like Joe Rogan, people with huge shows like that. Yes.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
like if we remember,
Pastors,
like the
pastors, people like
anti-vax
that.
community was not made up of right-leaning people, 5 years ago or
Well,
6 years
Joe
ago. It
Rogan's
was
not a right leaning person
yeah, I
according to
know.
himself.
I mean,
so
you could say well, like fuck Joe Rogan, right? But like 5, 6 years ago, people were like
Yeah.
spreading measles and mumps and rubellum at fucking Disneyland in California. Do you think those people were conservative?
So I'm just going to
Thinking
talk
about
to
It's
the
an open
person.
question to
I'm
the
just-
community. Do you think they were conservative?
I don't know
I
of
didn't
any liberal
No,
or
they
left
weren't.
leaning
The
person that
anti-vax
was on
community was
some
mainly
tirade
made up of
about.
fucking left-wing morons that fucking didn't want to get the flu shot because they watched a YouTube video of people like fucking tweaking out on the flu shot. Or like, oh, the flu
No.
shot causes autism.
What?
That's
Okay,
why
so-
everybody self-diagnoses with autism
How,
now
how
too.
do you know
Okay,
those people
no,
left
hold on.
leaning?
This no. Look, here's the look. I got a question in the chat, right? I got a question in the chat. I got something that got said. Now I got a fucking question, right? Because not right now, what's happening, right? Is it having some basic fucking humanity, right? Is somehow post-leftist propaganda, right? So like,
no, oh my god.
so
like,
Tricks Rich, like you gotta like, how is it that having a fucking functioning heart, right, that reaches out to people is somehow fucking post leftist propaganda? Like what in the ever loving
CTV,
fuck?
hold on. Okay, for context, in CTV's chat, when he left his chair, I said, CTV's gone, post leftist propaganda. It's a meme, like, as in, you're gone, let's post dumb shit while you're away. It's not. I'm not saying
Look, man,
a lack
I'm
of
gonna
empathy.
fight with everybody that doesn't know what good pizza is like. All right.
Shut up,
Look,
Crunch.
like
damn
the
it.
Bash Johnson, Beer Bash Johnson. Like I feel you, bro.
Oh my
But
God.
Tiberius,
You know what the best pizza
gross,
is?
gross. Chicago,
Vaccination
gross.
pizza.
Shut
Yeah,
up.
For real
okay,
though,
hold on, hold on.
I
This
think
one,
it's really
this one-
hard for me to try and like it's like what Sarah was saying about how it's really hard if you don't have people in
Did I disconnect?
my state.
F.
There's a,
Look, this is what you. This is what happens when you
Give
have
some
state
F's
run
in the
internet.
chat for
Okay.
Tricks.
Tricks.
Salute Australia.
Okay,
There you go, buddy.
It seems really
Barely run by the
Holy
right
fuck,
wingers.
I'm
Hey,
going
slow
to mute
down.
people.
Tricks was hanging out in chat over here earlier.
All right, Trick Switch, finish what you were saying. You were cut out. Go ahead.
Sorry. It's really hard because I have 11 people in my state with COVID, and that is it. I think we actually have 7 maybe, and that's the total. So while we have a lot of anti-vaxxers in Australia, we don't have a lot of people with. I didn't even know a single person in my city that has. I don't know anyone who has even known someone who has gotten COVID.
That's because they put you in camps.
So I.
That's why.
They didn't put people in camps. They just
Yeah,
took
they
real
put
people in
preventative
camps
Hey,
and
for
I'll
measures.
the
show
love
you.
of ever loving fucking Christ, can I hear her speak without being interrupted for like the next minute and a half? That'd be fucking nice as long as some of the opening statements were, okay? Thank you very much. Trick Switch, if you would, please.
Thanks. It would be quite nice. They didn't put us in camps. They just made us stay home. It's fine. My house is cool. But I think that's why in Australia, especially, there is a lot of anti-vaxxers in America are dying. Okay, sounds good. Because honestly, maybe it's because I don't have any personal experience. I just don't know anyone. I haven't seen it in firsthand. The only cases of COVID I've seen are online, so there is no personal connection for me. It's really easy for me to distance myself from this and be like, anti-vax are dead? All right.
So we're definitely.
So you don't care about dead
guy gets-
people?
Guy gets hit by the bus. Trick Switch is like, should have had your own fucking cell phone.
All right.
Yeah, should look
Shouldn't
both ways.
have been walking there.
Should be like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm walking over this
Like,
problem
oh.
and continuing on
Guy
my
gets
way.
I
guy
just say
steps
I
on a
take
fucking
bit-
mine, explodes. Tricks is like,
I-
all right,
I
whatever.
just
Come on,
kind of
Tricks,
take
you
a,
know that
I
was
take
true
a bit
American
issue with
capitalism.
these likenesses because
Come on, Tricks. Don't try to be all
this is
serious
about
and shit.
like
You know
the
it's a
original
meme.
thing is
Step on a
about
pressure
like
plate,
feeling is
boom.
about like
10 Marines dead. All right, whatever. It's cool. I don't
Geek, I
care.
can't hear you.
Oh,
All
come on.
right. I'm going to throw it to Sarah and Kitty, who hasn't talked in a while. I don't know if you want to chime in. If not, that's okay. Just wanted to cut from all.
Uh,
Anyway.
I'll bring it back here in a minute.
Yeah, like I was saying. Yeah, it's easy to disconnect yourself from people if you don't see it in your own life. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Um, but yeah, I don't I don't have anything to say right now, but
I want to bring it back because sympathy, I think we're all pretty well aligned on. That's just going to be a moral conversation, real quick, and I hate to go down that route. I want to get back into the institutions talk, and that's largely what Monty was saying, and CTV talked about it a little bit too. But Monty, you're largely advocating. There's a lot of people that feel like the institutions are liars. They're not trustworthy in any shape or form. And there's a level where it can be a little bit sympathetic to that, but there's a level where it also completely breaks down. For me, like, do you believe that most doctors know what they're talking about?
I think your comparison. I don't think it's a good comparison. I think an individual doctor one-on-one who's talking to you, okay, has their expert opinion, all right, and they're consulting with you. You're consulting with them, okay, and they might have to look you in the face if they give you bad advice, right, and say like, oh fuck, my bad advice. They may get sued. They have all kinds of things, and also their advice doesn't, it has a very limited scope. It might limit you, their other patients, maybe the inner circles, right? Someone who gives someone then who is an expert, right, and gives advice that touches hundreds of millions of people. Okay, this is a vastly different system in scale and scope, right? With so many multiplicative interactions. Okay, that your one expert opinion, okay, is taking is throwing people in one direction, and you have no accountability. You have no accountability if it goes wrong. You could just say like, oh well, now I did the best I could. Then I guess I'm still going to go back to my life that has basically unchanged, right? Maybe I might take a reputation hit, but that's it. I'm not dying or anything like that. My I'm not going out of business here. There's different risks involved. Okay, one more thing. Okay, there are a bunch of experts at the beginning of the crisis. Okay, who said, oh, there's no reason to think that this is this is a problem. We have to wait for evidence to come. Okay, and whatever. I was pushing back on them. Right? Are we waiting for evidence in the form of fucking flu? Right? There are some times where like being cautious, risk assessment, okay, is better, okay, than expertise in a field. All right, and this would have been one of those cases. And so that's it. There's a difference when you're talking to hundreds of millions of people than when you're talking one-on-one. It's not the same, I guess, responsibility. It's not the same effect in terms of expertise.
Okay, yeah, I want to pull that apart a little bit because I think that's an insightful part of the conversation. Is the problem here innately that there is no consequence to a higher authority? Because you can hold your doctor responsible to some degree. You can sue him. You'd be like, hey, yo, Dr. Herberg's a fucking dumbass. Don't go see him, right? Whatever. Versus if it's somebody who is like Dr. Fauci, he is a public figure. The only person that can fire him is Biden. Or Congress has to impeach him, and outside of that, like, what do you do? Because people can talk mad shit about him, but they're a voice in an ocean, right? They're a drop in an ocean. They don't have a voice of consequence. So I'm just trying to understand: are you largely advocating that if you don't have the like the direct consequence of being able to speak, that your value as the speaker is far more limited?
Your value, yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, I guess in terms of my evaluation, whatever this ad nauseum I say this, right? But yeah, someone who doesn't have someone who isn't exposed to the risk that they impose on other people, okay, shouldn't be making decisions for them. Okay, if you are making these kind of decisions, either you make a risk-based assessment, okay, or you're exposed to that risk yourself, and people can choose to follow you or not, right? You can say like, look, here's what I'm doing, this is why I think this is this, and you can make your case, all right? And if this makes any sense to you, I encourage you to follow me, okay? But please make your own decisions, make your own risks, or take your own risks. You know your life, okay? And I can't tell you what to do, all right? It's just there's a yeah.
Sure, I can largely like understand at least where you're coming from, and just as a clarification, you consider yourself more like libertarian, right?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, whatever. Generally, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Right. I just ask because I'm just to a point now when it comes to these conversations, I like to understand like the meta behind it, like why you advocate for what you advocate for and why you believe what you believe. And it sounds to me that this is more of like I'm not trying to lump you into a slum here. But
That's
it's more
fine.
of an,
That's fine.
It's
a
more of
nuanced
the
conversation.
yeah, it's the anarchist conversation of like for me to hold you to some kind of level of scrutiny or value, I have to have some kind of like equality with you. I have to be on the same level of playing field, because if
There has
you're
to be
also
some form of reciprocity.
yeah. That's exactly where I'm going. Like that's not one that I expect from a lot of righties, but you that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's interesting because I don't really know how to deal with that because I'm more authority driven. Is that I expect that the institutions are always going to have some kind of a competence and expertise that I do not as a unit. You have a doctor's union, you have the medical establishment. They know shit that I do not, and even together, basically the law of averages would be they are going to be right more often than anybody else will on their particular topic.
Okay, they're going to they have an expertise, they have I guess a way of thinking of things, right? They also have their own interests. They're humans, right? And in throwing
I'm just trying
throwing
to
a
find
story
good
out there,
spot when
okay,
to jump in here. I'm sorry,
that's
I'm
very
being so
rational,
boring.
okay, that sounds great, and that just happens to be very good for you and your organization in the long term is not something that's unheard of, right? And sorry, I'm not saying this is done nefariously or like with ill intent or anything like that. I'm saying just fallible humans tend to fall into these traps, right? And then when you have the kind of power where you're just like especially in our media, right, where you have to like kind of like you have to pick a stance early and then stick with it, or else everyone's gonna like whatever. There's so many filters things have to go through, okay, to get from that level down to you, all right, and so many levels of complexity that it's just like it's weird for me. It's weird for me to like take someone from that level and think like, yeah, you know what, they really care about me and my family. Like if something happens to us, they're it's gonna hurt them in any way, and they're not. They're playing. I feel like people at that level are playing some kind of game, and unfortunately, they're playing games with my life, right, and the life of that of my family, and so I can't trust them. And I'm double vaxxed, okay. I mean, I'm not. No, I'm double vaxxed. I'm not like this is what I did for myself and my family. I was kind of hesitant with this like institutions thing, right? But at the end of the day, there's also the risk that it poses to me and the people around me, and taking that into account. And I thought, you know what, the best decision is to get vaccinated. I think the relative risk of a vaccine, honestly, is very low. Okay, even if it's not the best vaccine in the world, I mean, they're pretty good at making vaccines that don't fucking kill you. All right, in my opinion.
Are they?
So, yeah, they are. So,
I mean,
so that's it. No, they're fairly good. There's a fairly good track record of making vaccines that don't murder motherfuckers. Okay,
yeah,
en
we all
masse.
know that you live in a different country. Trix West lives in a different country, and Sarah
Wait,
Kitty lives in a
come
different
on,
Can we
country.
have a serious
Miss
conversation
lives
for
in-
one fucking
These things
second
are not
instead of
the
talking
same.
about
So
fucking
I'm gonna
pineapple
tell
beer?
you-
It's the same thing, Montreal player.
Nobody's
I'm in
getting the
US,
same
it's the same thing.
vaccine, right?
Same.
Like you guys probably have
No,
different
good.
vaccines than
no,
we have down
stop,
here.
Stop!
Canadian
No,
vaccine.
Stop!
Okay.
Stop!
This is
Fucking stop!
ridiculous.
Fucking stop!
This is the first time I've ever seen critically
Now.
thinking veteran without sunglasses on.
Montreal.
It's interesting.
Sum up what you said in 10 seconds. And then I want everybody to listen to what Crunch Lord is going to repeat. And let's see where we're at after that. Okay? Monty,
All right. Yes.
go
You
ahead.
want me to sum up?
Sum up.
That's kind of broad. 10 seconds. All right. Fine. 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 I feel personally, okay, for a variety of reasons, okay, that COVID's very real. It's a big threat, okay, and that if and for all the things I've considered, okay, for myself and my family, I thought the best decision, okay, was to get vaccinated, was to get fully vaccinated, so we can
the thing
get
that-
on with
that-
our
that
lives,
was-
and
wasn't the thing
so
that-
I could reduce my risk of getting seriously ill or dying, because I have a bunch of people that depend on me. Okay, and
Yeah, but that's not what Crunch
one thing-
reacted to. That's not what Crunch
Okay, go on.
reacted to.
that
right?
reacted to me being Canadian. All right, let's go.
Yeah, so that wasn't what Crunch reacted to. Crunch, what was it that you reacted to?
Yeah.
Right, so, for instance, the AstraZeneca vaccine, nobody's getting in the U.S. Right? Like there are different things going on. Like I'm going to Korea at the beginning of October.
Or anything,
right?
then like pretty much
My
every
vaccine
other
means
form of
nothing to
medicine.
them because they have their own different vaccine. I have to get a negative COVID test and then quarantine for 6 days. So what I'm telling you is that all of these states, countries, whatever the fuck, are different. And how do we know this vaccine is more fucking is held to the same standard as the country that you live in? Like, are you like super fucking well informed about like how the FDA works in the
see,
US?
here's how my non-expert opinion can make this
I'm
real
not mad
simple.
at you. I just want to finish my statement. Right?
Sure.
Like the FDA approved lead paint in the 1950s. The FDA has approved a lot of fucking stupid shit. Right? I'm vaccinated. My wife is not because she's a surrogate, and apparently the vaccine was like a no-go for her having kids for a family that can't. So I'm just I'm trying to figure out, right? What is the standard? Where's the standard stop? Where's it end when it comes to okay, this vaccine's chill? Because as far as the US freaking as far as history goes, like we gas our own people all the time. We've done all this shit. I can get into the history of it. I'm not going to go into conspiracy. All I'm talking is history, right? The US FDA has fucked over a lot of people over the years. I have disability just for fucking breathing in shit that the fucking FDA shit was cool. Malaria fucking pills, all of that. So what I'm saying is I got the vax because I just got it, right? Because I'm used to it because I was in the military. But like there are very understandable reasons why people would not get it just based on what is available as far as information goes. I'm not anti-vax. I'm just saying that we can't just say fuck these people. They're fucking they died from fucking not getting vaccinated.
I would
I'm
never
saying
see
is
fuck
there's
these people.
different
Never.
countries have different laws when it comes to the approval process and all of that. Go ahead. Sorry.
I would never say fuck these people. I have total sympathy even for people who don't take the vaccine for they've made their own decisions, okay? The only people I don't have sympathy for is the people who make
Or
oodles of
Mr.
money, okay, peddling that not vax life because all you have to do is stay in shape and
Mr. Geek's
COVID's a
been
hoax and
doing a
stuff like
good
that,
job.
okay? If
Been doing a
you
good
have
job
evaluated the situation in your own
So I
life and
can
you decide,
tell
you know what, the
some of this
vaccine's
is
not for
very
me for X,
stressful.
Y reasons, but that's my own personal choice, okay? And you get it, you're a human being and I totally have sympathy for you, okay? I don't want anybody to suffer unnecessarily if you're a good person, okay? As far as here's my non-expert risk assessment, I guess, opinion, okay? You have a disease, okay, that's going out there, okay? I know people are getting it just because I know people working in the healthcare industry, okay, and they're just overworked. They're overworked because hospitals flooded, okay, and they're dropping because they're just overrun. All right, so definitely real. Also, okay, there's a risk there. Okay, whatever. There's a potential risk, okay, that you get it, okay, that maybe you die, maybe you don't, okay, maybe it has long-lasting, effects on you and your health, okay, and that's it, okay. On the other hand, I have the vaccine, all right. And maybe this is trusting, I guess, whatever science or whatever, but I trust them to make a vaccine that probably won't kill me, except for the fucking, a fringe or not fringe, but outlying, I guess, effects of people. All right, so just taking random vaccine that's well made, probably not gonna have massive negative effects on me.
Well,
all right,
based on current data, it's only 75% effective.
Okay, that doesn't even matter. That doesn't even fucking matter. Hold on, let me finish.
I didn't hear any part of that. Nobody heard fuck all. So this exchange is now concluded for the meantime. Mr. Geek, I know you wanted to go somewhere.
Yeah, Trick Switch, whose hand must be really tired by now.
Thank you.
Go
No,
ahead.
it's okay. I was just gonna bring up
Very patient.
there's there's people who don't trust the vaccines and stuff. But what about the people who are like, I don't trust the vaccine, but I trust ivermectin? I don't know what it's called. The
Ivermectin.
American, the horse thing. What about the people who are like, well, I won't take the vaccine, but I will take this horse thing. Like,
that's largely why I want to reboot what me and Monty were saying, or we're me and Monty were.
Hold on, fuck that. This whole
No,
horse thing.
no,
is
not fuck that.
bullshit.
Shut up.
Fuck
No,
that.
Tiberius,
Stop it.
This
Tiberius, go
drug,
ahead,
right?
Tiberius,
I can
go
take a
ahead,
horse pill that's
Tiberius, go
big,
ahead.
right?
Okay,
Or I can
so
take a
where
human
I'm at
pill
with
that's
this
small.
is that when it
Alright,
comes
whatever.
to
Go ahead.
Monty's last statement, which
Tiberius, go ahead.
I've got him muted. I don't even give a shit. Where Bonnie was at the last moment was that he was going down the lines of institutions leads them to actions that make them more distrusting because of their own self-interest. They can perpetuate nefarious actions. Is that correct? I'm not misquoting you on that.
Generally, I find
Right.
there's a big risk of that. Yeah, and I
Okay,
think that's
sure.
people's fear. That's a big fear that's invading people. There.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't disagree. I understand that. Now, the problem that I have with that argument, just in context, is that I feel that there's a hard counter within its own argument. Is that institutions are also going to have the self-interest of making themselves look good, and this is the libertarian argument, right? A business isn't going to completely come in and fuck you over because they have the self-interest of saying, "Hey, look, I have to look good when I'm selling products, when I'm operating as a business, because if I don't, people will take their money and they'll go elsewhere." So either we don't actually agree with the purchase value that people have, or basically the negative attributes of a company lead them to do more negative things than they do positive. So I got to figure out where we're at there.
Okay, no, actually, I'll disagree with one thing. Okay, it's not that I don't think they're like I genuinely think the institutions think that they're doing, or that in the moment, okay, they think that they're doing the right thing. I think it's influenced by their own self-interest, but they're like, if we can combine those two, I think let's go. Okay, they think they're doing the right thing. All right, the thing is that if they find out midway that they're doing the right thing has is either counterproductive or it has an effect that's outside of the scope of anything they're measuring. They're either A, not going to measure that thing that it's displacing somewhere that nobody's looking at, or B, they're going to find a way to say like, oh, okay, well, mea culpa, but we still got to move on, or they're going to say, oh, well, no one could have ever foreseen, this thing, right? And we basically led you down the wrong direction, but we meant well, right? But it means the same thing. You took a shot, okay? You applied it across the board, all right? And now people are paying, and you still get to take shots. That's messed up.
Okay, so just one little question is that, do you feel that it would actually help a lot of these institutions to go, hey, look, we know that this thing's a problem. We're currently collecting data. We do not have any definitive any information for you at this moment. If you give us a couple days or maybe a couple weeks, we'll have something for you that we have with concrete. And that would actually help a lot of these institutions.
Can I say something real quick?
No, but
if it's not intelligent, I don't want to hear it.
From the
I don't care what you want to hear and don't want to hear.
Then I'll mute your ass right again, because we're having a good conversation.
I do not care what you want to hear.
Okay,
what I'm
cool.
saying is that
all right, Monty,
this horse
go
pill
back to
that
this
you're talking about.
For God's sake.
Yeah,
it's not just a horse pill.
All right, Crunch
right?
Lord, go ahead, and after that,
Okay,
Montreal.
so this horse pill that Tiberius keeps referencing is not just a horse pill. There are human doses. Same with fucking Tylenol or fucking penicillin, right? There is a farm animal dose and there is a human dose, right? You could look this up yourself, but you're not. You're just gonna rub your head in your fucking tiny ass apartment while
It doesn't matter. If you're taking horse medicine, you have no room to talk in the conversation. Say something fucking intelligent.
It doesn't. It isn't proven
man,
to work.
Like, we all agree Joe Rogan's a fucking moron, but for some reason, like he was able to deduce that he should probably take this instead of doing this or that or getting on a respirator. And 4 days later, he didn't have COVID anymore? I don't know. These are the reasons.
He took every drug available to him
agree
because that's what he
I
does.
agree that Joe Rogan does all the
dude?
drugs. I agree.
What?
Like it was probably the acid or LSD or the fucking DMT that cured him of this whole thing. But to say that say that there's dumbass conservatives just taking horse pills is very like unfounded.
Yeah.
And just
Oklahoma
stupid.
actually has an influx of hospital visits. Their hospitals are overrun with people who are overdosing on ivermectin right now. So, that is actually happening.
Okay, there are dumb people everywhere. I get it. I agree.
Stop. I'm going to mute again. Holy fuck.
Okay, let's not, real quick, the geek, if you will. Let's not push the limits of geeks' patience. Okay, not do that.
Two things. I think it's important to fight misinformation, so I'm going to precise two things. One, none of the people on this panel are medical experts or professional or know anything. They're just people with Google.
Exactly.
So please take your advice from real medical professionals.
True.
Two, real quick, please. The thing about ivermectin and the hospital in Oklahoma is has been kind of like debunked by the hospital. The person who made the claim isn't a doctor that worked here.
Is the
last
Mayo
2
Clinic
months.
trustable,
But yeah.
Geek? Do
I
we
don't
trust
care.
the
I
Mayo
just wanted
Clinic
to
here?
precise this
No?
to avoid like going into a hoax. That's it. I just, yeah.
I'm just
wanted
saying,
to
like,
remember
do
that.
we trust the Mayo Clinic or we do not? Because I will not use that source ever again. But I'm saying the Mayo Clinic trusts the ivermectin.
Mayo
Like,
Clinic?
may not be a COVID thing, but there is a human dose. So saying that it's a fucking horse, whatever the fuck, is stupid. Because right, there are different doses, right? Like you give. If you've ever worked on a farm in your entire fucking life, you know that there are medicines that work for other mammals that are not humans.
I'm gonna become
that
the
you have to
fucking
give a bigger
Joker.
dose, and then it gets smaller the smaller the animal gets, right? So you don't kill them, right? I'm just making a base take based on just like regular science. I don't know.
All
It's
right.
weird.
I know
Weird
that
take.
Montreal player has been patiently waiting, so I want to throw it back to him.
Yeah, it's difficult to get back on track now. Sorry, ADHD and pills worn off. Okay, let me try to remember. Yeah, the something Tiberius said. Shit. Yeah,
my brain is melting.
Is this even relevant anymore? The individual, I don't think they care about the ins and outs of when you're making a decision, they don't care about the ins and outs of like this and that the other. All they know is that I've heard this kind of song and dance before. It always seems to be a crisis, and then it turns out, it's some bullshit. I got screwed. All right, and that's it. And so to expect a different thing because you have institutions that honestly, I think one of their problems is that they always have to communicate. They have to project strength and assurance and stuff like that because they think that's the way to get people to move in one direction. I think it's just bad leadership, honestly. But that's it. They have a real problem. I think there's a real crisis of public trust, honestly, and that's why these kind of messages of like mistrusting vaccines and stuff like that is so potent with a lot of people, right? Because it gets them there, and I think there's a precedent of mistrusting institutions of having government and corporations in bed together to screw the person. It's a story we've all heard before. Whether or not it's true or not, I feel like it's in people's heads, okay, generally, and it can lead to outcomes like this. The ivermectin thing, okay, it's just like, I mean, there's a human dose. Clearly, there's a human dose that's non-lethal to humans, right? And I think people are just like, there's something else about the vaccine, right? It's a fucking needle in your veins, right? And people are like, you know what? The pill sounds like less of a risk. It's probably it's not the case. I think it's flawed reasoning, but I mean, I can understand how people would be like, you know what? I'd rather just take my chances with a pill than a friggin' needle putting something I don't know in my veins, right? And
yeah, it's intramuscular.
That's it. I just think because we're on
Vaccine's
the
not in your
topic of
veins.
symptoms.
Just to be clear.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
CTV.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry. In the muscle that goes into your bloodstream. Geez. All right.
Take the Lane Staley approach. All right. You be good.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
We're talking about sympathy, and I think that people who are vulnerable to that kind of messaging for whatever reason, I think I don't think they're wrong. I don't blame them for having that reasoning, because I'm also mistrustful of institutions, so I can sympathize for them, even though I've gone in on it for various other reasons. And I wouldn't. And if they got harmed by some disease, whether it's COVID or just COVID that aggravates their things, I'm not going to be unsympathetic to them at all. It's terrible. It's terrible. People suffering is terrible.
All right, I want to throw it to Beer Bash Johnson. Sorry, Tiberius, I'm throwing
fine.
it.
I've taken up a lot of time.
All right, I'm throwing it to Beer Bash, after that Tiberius, and after that we'll go into closing statement. I'll be right back. Go ahead, Beer.
All right, say it. Well, one quick little factoid about the thing with the whole horse dewormer that makes it so easy to overdose on is the stuff they're selling for the horses that you can buy over the counter is actually like a weird paste and not like have to take fixed dose. They're just butcher as little as that shit as you want. But anyways, the one like study that was purporting that ivermectin was good against COVID-19. Also, it didn't what's the fucking word I'm looking for? It has since been like not quite retracted yet, but it's been like completely discredited. It is because it had all sorts of conflict of interest issues, faulty like the data acquisition itself was really faulty. It was
and I agree.
refuted by more in-depth stuff.
Like
But-
I just think calling it a horse medicine only is fucking dishonest and stupid, right?
Yeah.
But also
yeah,
the
of course,
manufacturer
I'm not
has
gonna take, I'm not
advised.
gonna tell my wife and kids to take ivermectin. Look,
Yeah.
I have the vaccine. My wife and kids do not. Okay, I'm not gonna tell them to take some fucking drug that some like Alex Jones and pushing, right, to not have COVID. Right? I'm gonna tell them to get the vaccine. My wife can't get the vaccine because she's fucking doing a surrogacy thing for a family in Texas.
Now we're
they don't want to do that.
Now we're just repeating ourselves. So let's kind of
What I wanted to get to
It's
relating
just,
to
it's just I'm not pushing propaganda on here.
No, it's fine. I got a question
Okay.
for everybody, right? So like, let's do this, right? I got a question, right? Would anyone here take Viagra, right? If they had,
No.
or what? Come
How
on,
you doing,
Fritz.
Cave Dwayne
Come on.
Cannibal Wood?
It does the exact same thing. It's just it works a little bit different, but it's. I mean, maybe you should watch some Sex in the City.
No,
Viagra,
Australian
like,
Viagra does not work the same.
Hold on. Now
Australian
listen.
Viagra does not work.
Hold on, listen.
All right, it's
right,
it's a different
Hold
definition.
the fuck on.
Your dick goes inwards.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If you want to get into that, we can have a pretty long conversation about it,
No.
okay?
With that toilet
Now,
Can I
thing,
just
so
say-
the
anyway,
question goes backwards.
no, with being armed with the information that it was actually tested on horses and cattle before humans. See? So this is where it
I
all
love
ties together.
All right. I'm going to take my turn next because I want to finish out the conversation that I was having with Monty real quick because I think we're at the end of it. Is that
Right.
so? I'm with you, Monty, where it comes to like, all right, cool. You know, we're gonna have problems with the CDC,
You're
but
turning
I'm
into
not
a
of the
horse
whole
face from this
mindset of person. Just go ask the
I'm not
person
quite
every
that
time. 'Cause
blitzed
you know
yet.
what? Doctor's too expensive to me to go see a family doctor every time something
Yeah.
comes up.
The thing
Right.
I
So
was
for
gonna
me,
say
it's
about
like, hey, look,
sympathy, I'll
listen to
just
the
put it in my
CDC.
fucking closing
They'll have some
statement.
guidelines for you. Now, I can totally fucking appreciate a thing that's just like, hey, look, while the experts should know shit, there's also a line where it's like, hey, this thing's new, or we don't have a formulated opinion on it. We're going to take a week. We're going to take some given amount of time to get some hard data before we make a final conclusion. That I can 100% respect if we go down that road. However, if I'm going to have to shift everything to just making it where a person needs to consult a medical position or medical professional on any and all medical things, that gets expensive for everyone real fucking quick. And that's a problem. So I either got to start pushing for socialized healthcare, or I need to have some general level of, hey, we've got to have a bottom line here where you can trust the institution.
Yeah, I mean, clearly you can't trust an. No, hold on. Okay, sorry. Yeah, you don't have access to experts. Waiting for hard data for something novel, I think, is a flawed approach. You need to take a risk assessment, approach, because frequently the data is not all in. It's flawed. The data might be flawed, or even the ways of analyzing it, okay, are just are motivated. Right. So that's it. In terms of a risk approach, or in terms of a risk-based approach, I guess for me, the vaccine makes sense. Right. And honestly, yeah, that's it. Shit. I had something to respond to what you were saying, and I fucking lost it. Anyways, maybe it'll come out again. No, it's fine. It's fine.
No.
Let everyone do it. I'll think of it, and I'll
Sure.
get back to you.
The only thing I'll say in reply to that is I'm really glad that I think that you made the right personal decision. I don't understand like the meta-ethical part where you're coming with, because a lot of this in my head keeps clashing with it. I'm trying to like iron that out. But I'm gonna drop the floor because I think I had something like 15-20 minutes of speaking time on this topic. So thank you very much. But yeah, I don't want to dominate everything.
And
I'll do my close, and I remember what I was going to say.
With
Hey,
that,
is
we're
there
going to
like a
go
third
into-
topic, or is this the,
with
la-
that,
the
we're-
last one?
Hmm.
I came here late because you
Yeah,
guys.
I don't give a
told-
shit. Sorry. With
Okay,
that, we're
cool.
going into closing.
All right, I'll just
statement.
leave then.
Okay.
Bye. I'm cool with that. All right. With that, we're going into closing statements. Sorry. So we're going to start by Sarah and Kitty.
Yes. Okay. So
Good
I
riddance to
wanted
that,
to
dude.
say,
Jesus Christ, that guy
as
was
my closing,
infuriating.
that yes, people are going to be very
Yeah, he
vulnerable
literally
to
just rage quit.
propaganda, and misinformation, especially during a really fucking hard time. Like people lost their jobs last year. People, I mean, I had I known so many people who got sick, and a few people that passed away from um COVID. And it's like, yeah, people are gonna go online and listen to the people online. They go listen to their pastors during times like these. Like, I don't know why that's so hard to grasp. But yeah, that's just what. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. And yeah, thank you.
All right, I'm going to throw. Before doing so, I need to say thank you to everyone who is still here. I really appreciate all of you taking time of your day and like basically just following the rules. You know, it allows to a good conversation. I really like the palette cleanser. I thought it was a lot of fun. So yeah, thanks a lot to all of you and people again. Go follow all of these wonderful people. You got the link of everyone in the chat. Yeah, all of them deserve your support. So yeah, go drop a follow to all of these wonderful people. And since we are shout out, Danabo, who is doing an amazing work behind the scene, who is inviting and putting all of these wonderful people together. So yeah, go
Yeah, he's
support
not gonna
him,
get
twitch.tv/Danabo. And on top of that, if you're a content creator and you're interested to be in this show, yeah, join his Discord and everything. There's everything in it. So yeah, thank you everyone. And with that, I'm going to throw it to I don't know, Montreal. Sorry, brain.
Can I go next? I'm remembering my response.
Yeah,
I'm writing it down
go
here.
ahead.
I'll go first, just to help speed up the clock, and I only have my outros to do anyway. Unless we're just doing closing statements, making sure. Closing statements only, or are we doing outros too?
Closing statement, shout out. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So my closing statement will largely just be, when it comes to this, I understand that people do not trust their institutions. My report where I'm at right now is the meta conversation as to why and addressing that. Now, there's some stuff of this I can work with where, you know what, our institutions need to like be a little bit more human and have that kind of touch. It's like, hey, look, we're going to fail
I'm not assertive enough
sometimes,
when I do these
and we
things.
goofed up here, but we think this is the right thing. We need to move forward. But there's a level here. It's like, yo, trust your doctors, trust
Wait,
your
is my-
institutions. They do know shit. And there's a point where a lot of these arguments,
My
on
mic
the
being
other,
super
not
quiet
necessarily the
again
other
for
side
some
of the
stupid
aisle,
reason.
but even within my own camp, just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and I can't break it down because I think they fight a lot, and those ideas are not coherent. But anyway, I'll let Monty just derail the living crap out of me here and tell me why I'm a dumbass here in a second. I'm just being funny. Anyway, my outro is largely, I'm Tiberius D. If you like what I had to say, you're welcome to come check me out. I've got 3 different forms of content. I study in economics and political science. My claim to fame is geopolitical channel, where I just talk about what's going on in the rest of the world and why certain nations seem to fail way better than other nations seem to succeed. It's really weird, but if you want some of those answers, come by, check out my stuff. The second show is Mask Off. I do a little bit of panels, but getting to these meta conversations is one of the primary things that I do on that channel. So if you liked what I did here, definitely come check me out there. And then if you want if you want to hear whatever reviews I have regarding like the Star Wars trilogies, or why Doctor Who is pretty cool, or why Naruto was kind of meh, go check out my reviews channel. It's all on Twitch, and you can find all the sublinks down below for the YouTube. Thank you very much, and I'm glad to be here. That was fun.
Thank you for being here.
What
I'm
keeps
going to
changing my
to
mic level?
Montreal player, that way you can respond directly.
Okay. So in my opinion, the one of the major flaws with institutional messaging is that they need to project a clear messaging, right, to a large amount of people. It's susceptible to motivated reasoning, the flaws in data collection, especially when you're in a
Excuse
rush,
me?
and most importantly, the ability to move people in one direction fast, which is why they have this power, right? Because you need, I guess, to do that. But instead of admitting their vulnerability to uncertainty, media, who seemingly represents these institutions, shame and dehumanize detractors, right? And I think this has kind of led to a public trust crisis, right? Because you have to kind of project this certainty, project this kind of strong messaging. And I think the thinking behind that is that, you know, if people perceive like weakness and uncertainty in your messaging, well, they're not going to follow you. And it's more important in the short term to get people to follow you, even if it means, you know, rounding off this corner or cutting this corner or something like that. And I think that's a flaw in leadership. I think over the long term, eroding this trust, okay, with this kind of like attitude towards people, treating them like they're fucking idiots all the time, or making people feel like institutions think they're fucking idiots that need to be lied to move in a certain direction. It's going to keep eroding this trust, and one day when we really need people to move in one certain direction, a lot more people are going to say no, I'm not moving because you keep fucking lying to me, and that's going to be a fucking and that's going to be a catastrophe. I think we're seeing that a bit, but I don't think it's where it could be going, and I think it's something we really need to watch for. I think maybe one of the phrases Tiberius said, a little more humanity in that kind of messaging might go a long way in the long term. Maybe not in the short term. Okay, maybe you'll have worse results in the short term, but if we're playing the long game of humanity, okay, basic leadership, okay, is to inform your people. All right, is to inform your people so they trust you. They trust you when you tell them that you're to go. They trust you when you tell them to not go, or they trust you when you're not sure. Okay, but you have their best interest at heart. Okay, and I just don't think that's what I think the idea that institutions don't have our best interest at heart is setting in more and more. And at one point, it's gonna become so catastrophic that we'll need people to move in one direction, and they're just not going to. All right, that's it.
All right, I'm going to try to trick switch.
My general take on this topic as like a wrap up is if an anti-vaxxer passes away from COVID, I'm not going to lose any sleep from it personally. But I'm also not going to celebrate it, and I think that celebrating it would be inappropriate. I think that if you deliberately don't get the vaccine because it's a hoax or anything, I feel bad that you've fallen susceptible to such misinformation, and I hope you know that you're endangering many people. It's just selfish in the end of the day. I'm TrickSwitch, Tricks_Witch. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch once I get good enough internet to be able to do anything. I had fun.
Thank you for being here. All right, I'm going to throw to Jason Society.
Thanks. So my take on this is kind of where I was at in the beginning, which is that we absolutely should have sympathy for these people. A lot of this has to do with disinformation. One thing I didn't touch on is a lot of these people are relying on this disinformation because they can't get affordable health care. Maybe the solution should be socialized medicine, which would allow people to actually go to the doctors and have those conversations with their doctors to understand why it's important to have the vaccine, because there's a ton of people that are underserved by the medical community right now that are being disenfranchised and are getting this bad information because it's the only source they have. So with that said, I think we can have sympathy for people, understand that there needs to be some structural change made in order to accommodate everyone and make sure they get the proper information.
She should have used the bus analogy, though.
And then from there, sympathy, absolutely, always. We should care about
Trick
each
seems
other.
cool.
It's a simple moral good, and I mean, I guess we can have the morality conversation, but from where I'm sitting, a lost life is a lost life, and absolutely we should care about that. You can find me at twitch.tv/Jason_society or on Twitter at twitter.com/Jason Society. Thanks.
All right, I'm going to throw it to CTV.
Well, we've got a lot of strong opinions here tonight. Geek, to be fair, I think there was probably miscommunication between you and Crunch. I think you might have lost your patience and
no.
I think so. And that's why I want to say this here now, right, where it's fresh in the moment, right? Because what I saw is that like you were clearly frustrated about some other stuff, and the interaction from his side was him just asking the question if there was a third topic because he came in late. So to me, it seemed more like a genuine question. Okay, so like whether he was being a dickhead about it
The
or not,
problem
I
is not
can't.
the question. The problem is literally that like he was here at the beginning when I said the rule, which is that when I talk, no one talk. It has been one time, 2 time, 3 time, and everything. You know me, I never mute people. If I get to mute you,
Oh
it's
no, no, no.
because
I
like
just yeah,
you
I was
know,
just saying that like because of
yeah,
like the
but
situation, it created this tension in the room that I just wanted to kind of try to alleviate. You know what I mean? But anyway, as far as the topic and everything goes, people will come to the conclusions that they come to based off of a lot of reasons. It could be conversations with their doctor. It could be their own personal life experience. It could just be because of whatever beliefs that they themselves hold. Right. And this is where having a little bit of humanity to understand that the diversity of the peoples across the planet doesn't need to, all of a sudden all just be wiped out because there's a government that's saying something and then like there's evidence to some things and then like we're just supposed to blindly trust, these institutions moving forward whenever there's been evidence of them, abusing that in the past. That's essentially where I'm at the core of all of it.
all right. And where can people find you and everything?
Oh, well, they can find me at twitch.tv/critically thinking veteran. And in the Infinity Acre Wood, which is the Discord where the Wolf's Den resides.
Hell yeah. All right. I'm going to free to Beer Bash Johnson. Did I forget anyone, by the way?
I think Sarah and Kitty, Beer Bash, and Jason, I believe, still need to go if I'm correct on the outro.
No, Jason
No,
went.
I just went.
I know.
Jason.
Oh, I didn't get to shout myself out, but
So
Oh,
she
yeah,
so she hasn't gone yet.
yeah. So you guys can catch me at Seren_Kitty on Twitch and Twitter. Oh shit! No, my mic is falling over. I'm a little scuffed right now. But I try to keep things lighthearted on my channel. We can get serious too. But mostly we have fun, we joke around, we kind of throw memes, and I'm kind of a shit poster. My mic is falling over. No, okay. But thank you so much for inviting me. I had fun. And yeah. I'm done.
All right. And I'm going to free to Beer Bash Johnson.
Okay, so about like sympathy towards people. Yeah, of course I believe in having like sympathy towards people, but there's so critically thinking veteran earlier was like making the comparison to, like if somebody like walked into the street and got hit by a bus because they were casually not looking, that likening that to people like not having and then you just like sitting there and not even calling 911 was likening that to just having trouble feeling sympathy for especially the people who were pushing this stuff. But then even sometimes I do definitely agree with Jason's society that like I do try to keep having sympathy for the people who are for the people who didn't really have anything to didn't have benefit in any way from pushing this stuff. But still there's like this huge difference between like, somebody who like got COVID-19 then and who was like an ardent anti-vaxxer and then died from it. There's a huge difference between being like, well, that sucks, and then not really giving much of a shit about it, which is where more I'm at, versus like, somebody gets hit by a bus and you're sitting there and you're sitting there like, but a chatter of mine actually summed up like one of my biggest problems with that comparison earlier. My chatter said rather than it just being somebody when it comes to the COVID-19 misinformation, pushers even more so, but then also to a degree, like the people these are people who have been told. They're not people who are accidentally walking in front of a bus. They're people who have been told time and time again that this bus is coming when it was like like it was like a runaway bus with blown out brakes that couldn't stop or something. When it was like a half mile down the road, person refused to believe it, like stands in the middle of the street and is like, "Come at me!" But yeah, and ultimately, I do think I like Jason's closing statement was really I can't disagree with that one little bit. The way that we solve this, we could sit around arguing about like feeling sympathy for people who caught COVID-19 died either because they believed or pushed and believed stupid bullshit. But the way that we actually solve this is ultimately to like increase accessibility, because holy shit, our hyper capitalist this healthcare system that has this huge barrier to access for so many fucking people definitely contributes why this has become such an issue in the first, why people can be so distrustful of the institutions. Anyway, so I'm Beer Bash Johnson. You can find me at twitch.tv/BeerBashJohnson, spelled with 3's instead of E's. And you can also find me on YouTube. I believe you can find me on YouTube, Beer Bash, just search Bash Johnson TT. And Mr. Geek, thank you and critically thank you, veteran. Thank you very, very much for having me on your show. And thank you very much, Danabo, for inviting me. Mr. Geek, you've done a real good job holding things together here tonight. I could tell there were some times it was starting to get a little stressful. So I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you for hosting this. Thanks for having us on. I hope everybody has a good night.
Yeah. With that being said, thank you again to everyone. Thank you, Danabu, for putting this together. Thank you, CTV, for being the co-host and being here. You know.
Oh yeah, Ro. Those last two things you said in the chat, I totally get
for
it.
what?
Probably for a little bit, yeah.
All right. You get the rate. Yeah, I'm going to say goodbye to my chat, and yeah, feel free to use the website and everything if you want. Take care, people.
I forgot to show myself out. Can I get a last 30 seconds?
For sure.
So twitch.tv/Montreal player. If you think I'm someone you could have interesting conversations with, follow me. Okay. But if you want to see me immediately, what I'm probably going to do is in a few minutes, I'm going to roll myself a big fatty, go over CCTV. All right. And we're going to have a good time full of jokes and memes and whatever. Okay. And Tiberius D, if you think we had an interesting conversation, next time, don't kick me out of your fucking Discord again. Okay. All right.
I didn't do that.
Yes, you did.
I'll check the audit log.
Wasn't your Discord? Wasn't your Discord once? There's that whole drama thing. It kicked me
So
out.
much
Totally
of
understandable.
tonight's,
Got back in your Discord.
so much of
then I'm kicked
tonight's
out again, and I'm
panel
like,
was the
okay,
fucking
this
Rightites all
motherfucker just doesn't like
arguing
me.
with each
Okay,
other.
that's enough. That's enough drama for now. Monty,
I didn't know that happened.
All right, guys. All right,
Take care.
Monty,
Thank you,
I'll see
guys.
you over there, buddy.
All right.
Yeah, see you later.
Thank you, people. Take care.
Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed what you just saw, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the bell as well to get notifications whenever I upload things. If you like live broadcasts, come on over to my Twitch channel, and if you really like what you see, then go on over to my Patreon and become a patron. Both of those links are in the description below, and I wish you a wonderful, wonderful day.
Fuck. I can't speak right now. God damn it.